TheGrayZone Roundtable, Revolution Radio, at freedomsource.com. 100% listener-supported radio. No corporate ties, corporate duct tape dictating our freedom of speech. It shall remain that way as long as we are supported by you. Join us, 347-688-2902. Enter the Gray Zone.
Welcome all the good peeps of Revolution Radio. This is Rectify. We're joined here on the Gray Zone Radio Roundtable with my co-host, Wingman. How you doing, Wingman?
Good night, Steve.
You're a little low, man. Hard to hear. And Steve Travesty, big boss man for the Roundtable shows here over at Revolution Radio. How you doing, Steve?
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Bien. Yeah, I was just in the chat room over at freedomslips.com and I realized you guys had a real heated roundtable. I didn't even get a chance to get a part of that. You know, Noreen hosts the roundtable before the Gray Zone, and I heard you guys had a lot of action.
We were basically talking about, you know, how much actual impact on changing our society and our world for the better, the various ideas that Revolution Radio promotes are having on people. And a lot of this was criticized by Ed Opperman, who sees it in the most pessimistic light. And I think it's great that he has that pessimistic light. We need that pessimistic light to remember where our shortcomings is in our belief systems. And basically, we principally talked about the whole law system, you know, things like what Tammy Pepperman does, what Christopher the Fleming family does, things like what I did, which was a combination of what Christopher taught me, and then I picked up on Kate of Gaia's information and also started using that, and whether that really has the impact on the courts and the culture that we hope that it does, the impact of prepping, so on and so forth. And just there was a lot of criticism about it.
Well, that Christopher of the Fleming family, I've seen him go both ways. I've seen success and I've seen failure as far as the whole sovereignty movement goes in the courts.
His own personal approach, I think that he accepts at times that he is going to quote-unquote fail because he's going for the long-term success. He intentionally goes for an agitation of principally the police and the sheriffs that are corrupt because he wants to have that fight.
Well, that's like the biggest way to do it. That's the most leverage you're going to get is if you start at the most local level.
Yeah,
so the cops are a good way to get in there, you know, and then you work on the lawyers and the prosecutors and the judges, you know, so forth and so on.
That's the road that he wants to take, and I respect that, and and he's a smart guy, so I know that he's got a more ultimate plan.
We got two callers. I think they might have been on the roundtable. I know Noreen was. We have Noreen Helpand, hello, woman, and Bill Grix. What's up? That's a Bill and a Grix. Choose one. What's up?
The Grantor. Yeah, how you doing? Both you guys, Wingman, Rectify. Thank you for introducing me.
What's your position on the sovereignty movement? Is there any power behind that? Do you think that that's the way to go in this World War III we're facing in the information war?
You know what? First of all, we have to remember the word sovereign is really meant to mean you're higher than a slave in the royalty order of things. So it kind of means you're a slave master instead of a slave. But I hear you, and of course we'll just go by the common understanding of that. But either way, we have to, like we brought up in the last roundtable, we have to act before things collapse, before they do what they plan to do. And we don't have to call it a collapse. Our money is worth what we say it is, as long as we spend it here in America, hire ourselves, and not buy overseas. The value of money is being determined by overseas
bombs.
Yeah, things like anything to do with people from any other countries buying from us. We don't really want. We have to just first of all make sure China. We have to boycott China, and
Well, I know Lockheed Martin and, Grumman and Skunk Works and, all those Raytheon, all those, mercenary missile building companies, the Swedlow, whatever, they, they don't care where the money comes in. That's how the economy's running, is by warfare. They spend that money on bombs, and so the money, it's not just faith-based. There is a cycle, and it does affect the world.
yeah, but war. They always tried to make the war economy appear as if it's good for the economy. It's terrible for the economy. It's money that's going towards destruction as opposed to creating roads and bridges and homes and homeless shelters and what have you. So it's not good for the economy. It's an intentional lie. So we just have to make sure we have to cut Skunk Works out, and many of those companies, again, foreign countries that don't believe in America, have their stock in those companies, and their profits are going out of our country.
Right. When you said, as long as we keep the dollar within our country, that faith-based fiat backing is going to hold stern and steady. And that's not the case, though, because that dollar is being flung around as the oil dollar, which it has been forever. All the oil has been based on trade. And if you don't want to trade as a country within the U.S. dollar, the petrodollar, then you get bombs dropped on you. And then Halliburton comes in and rebuilds, and those stock holders make money from Halliburton.
Yeah, we've got plenty of oil here. They just don't want you to think so. We don't need it. We don't care. We shouldn't care. As a war act, it's a war act against us to force us to even believe that. And it only leads to the destruction of America. Of America in the long run. We have to stick together, period. And, Japan, with them trying to block up the any negative talks about Fukushima, making that illegal. Just for that alone, we should boycott Japan. I was on their side until that happened.
Well, did you know after the bombs went off in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and after the Pearl Harbor incident happened with Japan, when World War II ended, we actually, as the United States Corporation, sold a lot of the ships that were bombed in the harbor back to Japan for the steel, and so they can create vehicles to sell back to the United States. How do you feel about that?
Oh no, I've always hated that. One of my cars went to them for that reason. Yeah, right. We ship overseas on a boat, all these cars, and then they melt them down over there, turn them back into their cars, sell them to us, and then ship them back to us. So instead of just melting it down here, building our own cars, not shipping it anywhere, and of course keeping our own money in our own country, we just do the complete opposite in just about every way, everywhere, and everything we do. Everything.
Yeah, everything. In my lifetime, up until, after 9/11, I've realized everything. If I want to find the truth, I got to flip everything upside down and turn it backwards, because we're told nothing but the opposite.
It's almost invariably the opposite.
Mm-hmm. It's
Always.
Inverted reality, for real, inverted, literally. Like inside out inverted. It's not truthful whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Wingman, you back with us, buddy?
I'm often inverted.
You're really low. You're like on the other side of the room, low.
You're on the other side of the pond and the room.
That is an inversion. He's flipped upside down on the opposite side of the wall, the room, to where his phone is, right?
Okay, let me try this.
Yeah, just put the one that buzzes back in and just hit the mute when not talking. It's not that bad of a buzz, buddy. We're having microphone issues. We were doing a little mic check before we went on air, and it happens,
I just lowered my in the adjustment microphone settings. I made a balance between what Noreen, I think, suggested last night and what it was. I went way up high, which amplified the buzz probably for you guys. But so I went in between talking too low to having too high of a buzz. How do I sound now?
You sound great, man. You're radio quality.
Okay, cool.
Steve,
job,
are you
Marie.
there,
You're a
Steve?
tech.
Oh,
I'm
no,
here.
I'm not really. I'm really not. Steve, can you, you're actually the tech dude, IT dude, correct? I'm not.
Kind of.
Yeah, anyway, well, you guys are really, but anyway, Steve, I wanted to hear the rest of, you were done with that court case, right? I mean, technically, or?
Yeah, that court case is over. I told them that, look, I am not the guy you're looking for, especially because who you're looking for doesn't exist. And then you told me that you wanted me to agree to walk into slavery.
Well, now, I was gonna say, okay, Ed's not here, right? But let's just say, for example, he was saying, he sees all that stuff every day in the courtrooms, and all that. Now, if you were again in the same situation, I'm assuming you're going to do the same thing, right? You're going to act, you're going to comply yourself the way you did.
Well, yeah, as long as they're talking about statutory fiction, and and it's not like a real crime that I'm being charged with. I mean, if it's a statutory fiction, yet still the charge is like burglary or something, then there's still an actual basis in reality that needs to be addressed. But
Yeah,
this was a traffic ticket. This was purely money.
Because you disclosed to me something which I'm not going to reveal, but you could be in a situation where, let's just say figuratively, you end up in court again. Are you going to, do the same process as you did? Would you be willing to take that risk? I'm just curious, to start off, to kind of leave off of where you were talking about earlier.
Well, at the end of the day, there's still the reality of the fiction and the fraud. The person who the court was looking for was the all-capitalized and franchised name. I am still not that person. They have to find that person.
You mean because your last name was, the spelling or the font was different, and therefore
right,
it's not,
that's what the birth certificate proved. Well, even if that specifically wasn't what you were seeing, the birth certificate is still the evidence of the fraud, because the birth certificate is the proof of the enfranchised entity's existence or the other. But yeah, it is also because of that, because the last name on at least my birth certificate is all capitalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, yeah, Steve should probably do the same thing again. It worked. I mean, it worked the first time. And Steve, you're not even driving with the driver's license in your car or anything anymore, correct?
That's correct. If they're gonna want, if they have to really want to go for it. Like basically at the end of the day, let's just say I get pulled over for whatever reason, right? Especially if it's an incident where no harm has been done. Let's just say I wasn't paying attention, I missed the stop sign, or let's just say they decided to pull me over just because they wanted to pull me over, which is literally what happened in the first place with the ticket that cost me $230 that I was fighting forever.
Flashbacks.
Right, exactly. Effectively, it's all going to really start with me basically telling them, are you looking for the legal name or the lawful name? And they're gonna say the legal, one way or the other, and then basically I'm gonna tell them, are you trying to aid and abet me in committing fraud? And then at that,
you're a slave, Steve. You're a slave. But I wanted to introduce Angela Black to the roundtable also. Welcome, Miss Angela Black is back.
Hey.
Hey, Angela. Hey.
You might be muted, girl.
Is she? Hey, girl. Maybe.
She just dropped. She's having problems. But I can't believe, Steve, that the prosecutor straight up told you, yeah, I'm going to try to make you a slave.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
I wonder if they can be arrested for that legally now, or lawfully.
Isn't that assault?
That they can. Honestly, what I told Kate of Gaia later that day, because she's the one that gave me the information to say, and I told her how it went down, and I told her that my response, because she didn't tell me how to respond to the answer after I made the statement.
I would have said that's a terrorist threat.
I simply said, I object, I am not a slave. What Kate said, if it was me, what I would have said was, thank you for the admission of your guilt. Bailiff, arrest this criminal.
Right. Angela, you're back, I believe.
Which,
Angela,
Yes.
Hey.
on, welcome.
Hey, Angela.
Lucky's
Hi,
back.
Noreen. How
Are
are
you,
Hi.
are you a free woman on the land, or are you a person?
Sovereign?
it depends on the day. No,
Are you a god?
no, definitely not
No,
that.
she's a goddess. They're just
I'm more like an angel, you know.
When
and-
somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
I do. I think I'm more of an angel, you know, because my name is Angela, and also I just it's kind of I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing. I'm pretty sure it's a blessing, but I feel that, you know, I'm an angel, but it's not my fault.
Right.
So I'm no god or no goddess. But anyway, thank you so much for inviting me. I've been listening to the conversation, and you know, in my third week of my show, and just glad to be a part of the
Can
roundtable.
you tell everybody when your show is again? Is that
Sure, I
cool?
appreciate it. And also, I'm sorry I missed your roundtable tonight.
Well,
Noreen. How
actually,
did it
some
go?
of these people are here with us, so we can just kind of continue.
Cool. That's what's cool about Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on where you're at. Yes, my show is Monday through Friday, except for Wednesdays, because Dr. Robin Felkoff has a show on Wednesdays.
She doesn't like hump day.
That is not true. Anyway, so it's Monday through Friday, except for Wednesdays. Studio B, 5 p.m. Eastern, 1 hour show. So it's 5 to 6. It's me rattling off some news that I find important for the day. And I had a really great show last Thursday where I covered a bunch of Sandy Hook stuff. And if I don't mind saying so myself. And other than that, I
That
feel
was a
that
good
the show
movie.
is, what? What
The
was
Sandy Hook movie? That
No,
they did,
yeah,
it was good
exactly.
actors.
that?
It was good
Exactly.
actors.
That's a good movie.
Good one.
That was a big one, and you can find the archives, of course, on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Free Revolution Radio, or if you go to the top of the page, you can go to the archives. I am very excited to, you know, re-enter the world of Revolution Radio because I really enjoy the camaraderie here. And so thanks for having me. And so, yeah, it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, and that translates mathematically all around the planet, depending on where you are. You know, I realized we're not in South America very much. I realized we're not in Japan or China
I
very
think we're
much.
technically banned, am I correct, from Japan?
Is that correct?
Nighthawk said, yeah, Nighthawk's in Japan, and a few other countries have banned, I don't know if it's true, they banned us.
Banned free speech?
I don't know about that,
Yeah.
but
Do nothing but talk about their fooked up Fukushima situation.
Yeah, and you know, they did pass that law in Japan. They did pass an actual
Yes.
censorship law specifically talking about TEPCO and the Fukushima.
Right.
Yes.
That you can be arrested and 10 years in
And
jail
We
or
talked
something.
about that so much that they probably just outright, probably just like hit Hawk's IP address and said no to that IP.
yeah, I agree. I think that's what happened.
Japanese are incredibly technologically smart, so they can do that.
Yeah, they probably did. You're right.
Is that
Yeah.
smart, though? You know, stopping free speech from happening?
No, it's
Is that-
not.
is that
It is
called
not.
smart?
No,
It is not.
they rely on us. I think they rely specifically on America, completely almost.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
for,
they
our-
do,
for our
because
purchase
yeah.
properties, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like it's like the way we believe that it is, and I still I'm still kind of in between how I feel about what Douglas Dietrich says about the conditions of World War II and Japan with the quote unquote surrender per se. But we see it as Japan relies on us, when allegedly it's actually us who relies on Japan.
Well, I think
Both of the
there's
other
a two-way
Japan
street.
/ South Korea's economies are quintessential to America's economy because of the whole way it affects the Asian market and our relationship to the Asian market.
Yeah, I agree, and especially technically, since South Korea and Japan are, quote, free countries, as opposed to China, which is kind of like in between, like Russia. It's a little bit of different dynamic going on. So I agree. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
but-
parallel.
I think what happened with what Doug's talking about, to me, I think the leaders on both sides lied to both countries. Like they just the leaders in Japan said, we won, and they think they won, and our leaders are doing exactly the same, and they know it. Like they've
It's
totally
like North Korea telling their people that they were like the first country to put a man on Mars and return, all within like 18 hours.
Really? I didn't hear that one.
No, they pull all kinds of stuff in North Korea that is insane. I mean, media-wise, they have complete control, and they can say anything.
Yeah, they also had one that they were telling their people, propaganda artists over there in North Korea, telling their people that the United States was in such dire straits that we were eating squirrels and.
That's what they're doing, right? It's a projection. That's what they're doing, right?
Some of us probably should. I mean, actually, they actually sell squirrel in my state at the southern border area, Charlestown.
I've eaten squirrel. My grandfather was an outdoorsman, and I would go up and stay at their double wide up at this lake, after they retired, and he was a man of the land. He taught me a lot about fishing, skinning, and scaling fish and that type of thing. And then also he would catch squirrel. And what's odd is I'm allergic to all mammals except for people and whales and dolphins, even though I am allergic to some people. But anyway, so as a prize back then, I mean, I'm 5 years old. It's 1974, something like this. And we would eat squirrel. He would shoot the squirrel with probably a little pellet gun. I don't know what he shot it with. And he would cut the tails off, and he would give them to me as these rewards. And I look at it now as so barbaric, but I have to tell you, I mean, I did grow up in the summers eating squirrel. And I cannot, it's an interesting thought about what people eat and all this type of thing. And I'm kind of going on a tangent, and I'll be quiet in just a second. But I wanted to bring up the fact that,
do you have any recipes? I'm just curious.
Fire.
Just roast it, right? Okay.
Yeah, maybe, and some salt. Okay, so anyway, but my point is that, no matter what's going on the planet, something's going to look pretty tasty to certain individuals, and I bet you that squirrel is going to be pretty tasty in a certain situation.
Oh, yeah.
If you're hungry. So, I mean, and I always have this joke, and it's certainly not Semitic or anti-Muslim or anything like that, but I always talk about pig, I don't always talk about it, but I mean, I have a point that, if you're on a deserted island and you're either a Jew or a Muslim, and I don't mean that in any, again, these are just brands
examples.
Of religion.
You're going to starve to death, or you're going to go get that wild
bull?
Eat
that pig,
yeah.
Hello, Allah.
That's all I'm saying, so I've eaten squirrel, and just, not to detract from what you guys are talking about, but yes, and it does taste like chicken, and, I do.
No, it's a simple solution. I mean, they just convert to Christianity, pray to Allah, say sorry, forgive me for switching to Christianity, and then pray to Christ.
All right, too far. We don't need to go there.
They explored this. They explored this idea of the Life of Pi movie. They showed Pi. He caught that fish and bashed its head in with like a can or something like that, and he had to end up eating it because he had lost all the non-eats.
He was so hungry. Right.
Yeah, and he was bad, but he was mad, like, humble about it. He was mad, like, he was like crying over the dead fish. That he killed, and praying to God, and thanking him for the meal or whatever. And I've been saying this like forever. We have to respect the life that sacrifices itself for us to live. We have to honor the food. You don't have to become some freaking vegetarian and be all like New Age on a level of, don't kill the animals. You just have to honor the life of the animal, and you also don't want to have it killed in excess. What Monsanto is an abomination, both in how it cares for an animal and how it creates life in general.
And you don't want to be brutal about how you kill it to eat it either. You want to make sure it's as painless and quick as possible,
Yes.
Precisely.
And I respect that so much. That's what I respected so much about my grandfather, was the fact that, he killed his own food, and and it's funny because he actually, interestingly, now that I think about it, worked at Oscar Mayer for over 30 years.
I bet you clean your plate a lot better when you're killing your own food.
Yeah, I grew up that way as well. But so my grandfather actually worked for Oscar Mayer and packed meat for 30, 40 years, something like that, before he retired. So did my mother, and even my brother worked there for a short time. And so some of my friends, because I grew up in Wisconsin, and that was the place. So anyway, oddly, my grandfather chose to live a life away from ground meat, packaged meat, these types of multi-faceted processed meats and stuff, and actually lived his life eating at the end of his, last 20, 30 years, basically ate, fish that he caught, squirrel that he caught, and I'm not sure what else because I really wasn't privy to that. I was very young at the time. But anyway, a very interesting point that, respect the animal that you kill. I mean, it isn't a packaged piece of ground pounded of meat, that you got at the store. And I think that that's where we as Americans really stray from the appreciation of exactly what you're talking about, Travesty. I think that was you. I'm not looking at Skype, who's talking and whatever, but yeah, instead of, the detachment that we go through as Americans, buying the meat at the store, et cetera, it would be much better for people to get more in touch with the fact that if you're going to eat it, I hope you killed it, and at some point very soon you're going to have to deal with that because those supermarket shelves are going to be empty pretty soon. Hello.
So, I don't think you have to live your life as a hunter or as an animal farmer, but I think you really, really, really should either, experience a successful hunt, and or, experience the process at a slaughterhouse.
At least go to a farm and see the animals knowing that you're going to eat it, not like just a zoo pet.
Yeah, exactly. See the process, because I think that will change your perspective. And it doesn't mean you have to be so shocked and horrified that you become a vegetarian. It's just that you kind of remember, in a sense, like, just to give it a moment before you go and then, eat your meal and have a good laugh and whatever with your friends. Not to let it spoil every dinner you ever have from this point forward, mourning the burger that you're eating. Still, have fun and enjoy what you're doing, but just have that moment ahead of each meal where you're just honoring the life that was given for your son.
Yeah, don't take it for granted, forgive the pun. But also, speaking of Oscar Mayer, that old Oscar Mayer commercial, with the kid fishing saying, "If I only had an Oscar Mayer," whatever it was. But that was one of my best commercials. So
somebody's buzzing, but I also wanted to welcome Bruce McDonald to the roundtable. Hello, Bruce. How you doing, sir?
Good, hey. Thank you for the welcome. I'm just going to listen for a while.
No problem.
Hi, Bruce.
If you can mute up everybody, if you're not speaking, we got to find the source of the buzz. But yeah, that'd be great.
And I actually hung up for a second by accident, and I was listening to, what was it, Bill speaking about Oscar Mayer, and I missed about something that the kid. I missed about 10 seconds of that particular speech.
Oh, the Oscar Mayer Wiener kid in one of the first commercials that's fishing off a log or a boat. He was my best friend's cousin. That
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've been in that. I've been in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. I've been in it because my mom worked there, so I actually got to tour the Wienermobile once.
I just saw a picture of it on the internet, actually, so that's a little coincidental. A little.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Anyway, thank you for clarifying. My Skype hung up. I'm somewhat challenged at the moment. So anyway, I'm gonna hit mute myself.
And we also got Wingman back. I think we got all of that technical issue sorted out with Wingman. Wingman 10-4. Can you hear me? Give me a 10-4.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Oh, you gotta quit smoking.
Yeah, no. So this going to an abattoir thing. I think that should be done at 16. Every kid at the age, because obviously young is a bit traumatic to see all that kind of stuff. Age of 16, every kid has to go to an abattoir.
Like learn how to club a fish, when you catch one, type of deal.
How do you spell that?
Avatar?
No,
it's probably got some. It's probably got some interesting etymology, actually, abattoir, I would imagine.
No, I think early kids, kids need to know right away, no later than 8 or 10 years old. And I'd say like 5, they literally don't know their animals they're eating, I've noticed over the years. They don't know. They just think a cow is a cute animal, and they don't know it's the food they're eating when they eat a hamburger.
Yeah, ask any kid, where does the chicken McNugget come from?
Yeah, they don't. They really don't. They don't think it's an animal.
Parts is parts.
Well, I mean, it is called a chicken McNugget. I mean, I can understand a hamburger because you don't go to the farm to go pet a burger. But
Well, fun fact of the day, hamburger came out of Hamburg, Germany. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to go pet a town in Germany.
Those chicken
now,
McNuggets.
hold on. Don't forget about human meat. You don't even know what's in your burger, homies.
Actually, there's a chance there's horse meat in your burger now, which really upsets me because I believe that horses are above human consumption.
Yes, I agree.
Only because my grandfather was an equestrian, so my whole family has a very, very deep respect for horses.
Yeah, and
Your grandfather was a horse, you say?
Understand. I've actually been on a horse a couple of times before.
I believe they're smarter than dogs.
Oh,
I love horses. Oh my God.
Ridiculously smart. There's reasons why people ride them into war.
Yes, there is.
You know, it's funny. I'm actually very allergic.
Something?
Please do.
Bruce McDonald? I don't know.
I really don't have a lot to add. I got thrown from a horse in 2012 at full gallop. But that was my own fault because I did not tie the saddle properly and it slipped. And so I went sideways with my right foot still in the stirrup at however fast the horse was going, and rolled on a gravel road for about 10 yards.
A horse defeated Superman. Just remember.
He stopped and he had a very sorry look on his face. So I do buy the intelligence.
I'm sorry,
thing.
but you were weighing it down, honey.
Yeah, you need somebody to show you how to tie that saddle. You have to really, really tighten that around their belly, and it seems as though, like somebody wearing a suit or a pair of jeans that are too small for them, the way they take that big inhale before you pull that belt really tight, and I just couldn't do it. I felt it was a bit cruel. I think people are being overcautious. I'm going to leave this saddle a bit loose. Big mistake. Big mistake.
Wow.
Like pig mistake for a second.
And on the meat, I was just going to say that I doubt anybody talking tonight eats chicken McNuggets, but you do know that at the meat auctions, the last two people, bidding on that quality of meat that goes into the chicken McNuggets are like McDonald's and Purina.
You're totally right now.
Oh man, we are in so much trouble. We're just in so much trouble.
If I may, I'd like to insert a new topic and steer the conversation a pitch, just because I kind of it creates closure for what happened, what was going on during Noreen's roundtable.
Well, let me finish the food chain conversation then. We're all screwed because of Fukushima. The food chain it's cumulative, the radiation, so your plants are going to get into your animals, which are going to go into the bigger animals, which are going to end up in us, and they never go away for thousands of years. So enjoy your shrimp for BP oil spill too.
Yeah,
yummy.
and don't eat Nestle candy bars either. They're like putting tracking chips in them, and they're going to put them in everything. And all candy bars in every store are all like European, French King owned candy bars, or like Mars candy bar. Just look into it. Don't buy
take
candy
deep
bars.
breaths either, because the chemtrails will get you. You got to take shallow breaths when you're outside. But go ahead, Steve. Go ahead and change the
Your
subject.
heart should not be beating at all. It's a complete waste of time.
No more water for you.
Yeah, that's right. Just
breatharian.
stop. Close your eyes, because the very light that hits your eyes, whether natural or artificial, is causing you to go mad.
Yeah, and blind, when you're driving, you have to do that at night because the headlights coming at you in a row in the other lane, that's blinding you. Shut your eyes. Don't let it blind you.
Just barricade yourself in your homes. Just the answer. Just kidding.
We got to make cars illegal. They're one of the biggest killers in the world. I mean,
Yeah,
you think guns are bad? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride my AK-47 to work. Oh, who am I fooling? I don't have a job. Nobody does anymore. What's a job?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Why do you think we're here? Like, do you think anybody would be hosts on the show and, like, call in on...
Wait a minute. That's not exactly the case.
I work.
They're pronounced yobs where I live.
Jobs.
Yeah, in Lamerica.
I used to work at a music store. Somebody would come in looking for a speaker system to perform shows, and it'd be like, I need a Yamaha.
Yeah.
We don't carry Yamaha. Do you mean Yamaha?
Right.
Yamaha.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Yahoo.
Hey, Bill, I don't know if you know, but your mic's buzzing. It doesn't normally happen, but I don't know if you can do anything about it.
I thought they said it was good earlier.
No, it was. It just happened like in the middle of our call. I don't know. It came out of nowhere.
All right, how about now?
Yeah, you're good, I think, now. I think we're all right.
All right.
Okay. So, Steve, go ahead. You want to bring up a new topic?
Thank you. So we were having that discussion about the impact of what we do, especially if we start doing it in numbers and them being afraid of us, quote unquote, right? Well, I found this article from Blacklisted News reposted from USA Today. Americans rising up against government. 3 examples of pushback against the ruling class. America's ruling class has been experiencing more pushback than usual lately. It just might be a harbinger of things to come. First, in response to widespread protests last week, the Department of Homeland Security canceled plans to build a nationwide license plate database. Many local police departments already use license plate readers that track every car as it passes traffic signals or pole-mounted cameras. Specially equipped police cars even track cars parked on the street or even in driveways. The DHS put out a bid request. Well, actually, let me get down to what the second one was. See, on Friday, after more public outrage, the Federal Communication Commission withdrew a plan to monitor news coverage and not only broadcast station, but also at print publications that the FCC has no authority to regulate. The multi-market study of critical information needs, or CNN pronounced SIN, involved the FCC sending people to question reporters and editors about why they chose to run particular stories. Many folks
I remember reading about this.
Found it Orwellian. And let's see. And then meanwhile, in Connecticut, this is where I live, a massive new gun registration scheme is also facing civil disobedience. As J.D. Tushil reports, 3 years ago, Connecticut legislator estimated there were 372,000 rifles in the state of the sort that might be classified as assault weapons and 2 million plus high-capacity magazines. But by the close of registration at the end of 2013, state officials received around 50,000 applications for assault weapons registration and 38 for magazines. So, there you go. All sorts of stuff of people that don't want to comply. And granted, that's the federal level, but that also comes, well, except for Connecticut, that's a state level thing, but also that is because of how things work on the local level, because usually the federal level needs the local level support structure for all of that to work, because they just simply don't have the manpower.
It's fine with me. You know what? They have to get rid of they have to get rid of that license plate reader system. Since we're not going to have license plates after we get through with them, we're not going to. Well, forget it. We're not going to have them. We don't.
Realistic. You know, I love it, but it's idealistic. I mean, I don't see it as possible. I would love it if you were right. I would love that.
No, we're going to have to get rid of it right now. Well, this is the beginning of the movement. License plates should be illegal. We don't walk around with license plates on our back and numbers on our back. Nobody can know who you are unless.
I mean, Bill is right about that. I'm inching closer to that. You know what I got in the mail today? I finally got in the mail my manufacturer certificate of origin for my Jeep.
I got my registration stickers for my car. Yay!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So I now have my MCO, and I also have the signed affidavit that validates that MCO. So
What's
I made
your MCO? Could you explain that to us, please?
Okay. Everybody understands that when you own a vehicle, they give you the title of the vehicle. The title of the vehicle,
pink slip, right?
although the title of the vehicle says that you own it, if you really look carefully, it's really telling you that you own it, but only in the capacity that you have the permission to use it by the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Right, because
It's
you're
really,
entering into a contract
it's really
submitting
just
to their
Department
rules,
of Motor Vehicles recognizing your liability with the vehicle.
It's funny you say that because Chris of the Fleming family, he actually had his car parked on a public road outside of his apartment complex because they were doing street sweeping or something, and someone broke in, smashed his window. So he sent the bill for the smash. He had a police report done first off, and then he sent the bill to the state of California to the governor and had to pay for it.
Nice.
They did?
Yeah, I can understand that. But basically with this with this MCO, if in the process of things that I have to deal with involves my car being taken from me, say it gets towed for whatever reason.
May I interject again? What does
I can
MCO
show
stand for? What is MCO?
I can show up with the MCO, and that's gonna give me the superior claim, and they can't make up a bunch of nonsense.
What's the acronym stand for?
Yeah. Travesty, what is MCO?
Manufacturer's Certificate of Origin. I said it.
Oh, yeah.
Said it at the beginning.
I didn't catch you. Sorry, man.
This is a duplicate of the MCO. Now, they didn't tell me why they only gave me a duplicate. Granted, with the affidavit, everything's kosher. But the reason why it's a duplicate that they didn't want to tell me is, and I learned this from Bo and Rocco, that what happens is that when you buy it from the dealer and you don't ask for the MCO at that time,
where does it go?
The Manufacturer's Certificate of Origin. Pay attention. It goes to the Department of Transportation for the state that it's registered in. So it goes to the DOT, and they hold on to it for 7 years. And then after 7 years, they destroy it. So thus they won't even have that in their possession. So even though this is a duplicate, an original is never going to pop up. Thus, I have the superior claim. And
that reminds me.
Able to
you have to
my vehicle as my own.
Are there two things going on in this conversation? Is everyone hearing this?
Yes.
Extra stuff going on, like Wingman, maybe. I don't know. I'm hearing two things happening. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, you just drop off and hit join again, and
okay.
I think it is. Yeah.
Right.
It's probably just the voices in your head, Angela. I wouldn't worry.
Thank God she didn't hear that. I don't need to
hear those. She didn't hear that.
No, she just got back in time not to hear it. They're just kidding.
What did they say?
Never
There's a song
mind.
called Voices. They're just kidding.
Games in that
Oh my God,
that milliseconds you're off air.
Hey, talking of stuff in the post, you know the old game Monopoly where it says the bank has made an error in your favour? Well, 5 years ago I took out a loan. I've paid it off a good few years ago. And I got a letter today saying, we made an error on your...
Is that community chest card or the other one?
Oh, I never know which is which on those ones, but one of those, yeah. But yeah, so I always thought that was a myth as a kid.
It's the one that gives you money, and the other is the one that takes it away. But anyway.
I got, based on some sort of overcharging of interest, they said they made an error, and from the time of that error, they weren't allowed to charge interest. And so I got a check for $350 out of the blue. I was like, yes! So I was quite pleased about that.
They sometimes give, over the years, they've given me a little bit of money here and there about so-called errors. But I think they do things like that because those are the really, really tiny things. And they used that money to their advantage anyway while they had it collectively. And then it really just distracts us from the really, really big stuff.
Come on, I know how fractional reserve banking goes. Come on, just hit another zero for me. Come on.
Well, I got a similar amount about a year ago for, we had a big thing over here regarding payment protection insurance on loans, you know, where you get insurance on a loan to say if I'm out of work, I lose my job, if I hurt myself. And apparently the banks in the UK missold all this payment protection insurance and a lot of people put claims in. So I put a claim in, they started asking anyway. I just a frivolous kind of claim, but I made some stuff up, and they sent me a check for a similar amount. So I've taken off quite a chunk out of the loan, like over $600-700, back from them, which is pretty cool.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
I wonder how different it is though over there in the UK than it is here, in the paperwork and all.
Well, what Steve was saying about the cars, exactly the same over here. Same principle, exactly, which allows them to seize your car and crush it because you don't own it on paper.
Well, you know what I'm sick of? I'm really sick of seeing when you buy something like a printer or a computer or whatever it is, this different
And obsolescence, yeah.
Well, that too, but what I mean is they tell you don't have the right to open it up and work on it. You are not allowed to open up. And no, that does not fly with me. This is mine. I worked for the so-called money to pay for it so I can own it. It's mine. If you don't want me to tear it apart and
that's just as much jurisdiction to me as an online check this, I accept the license agreement. It's not a signature. They call it a digital signature. I didn't sign anything in blue wet ink, so yeah. I overlook that stuff. I pull those stickers off. I get my hands dirty if I have to. I fix my stuff, man.
Yeah, you have to.
Well,
we need to make them.
What you're talking about, Bill, it invalidates the warranty, though. That's the reason for it, when you do that.
No, I mean, it's beyond that. You're right, but I mean, they also say it's like illegal. You can't take it apart to learn how it works because it's patented technology. They're just licensing you to use it, just even if you pay cash, and now they're not taking cash quite often. And if you, I went to buy my laptop about 3 years ago so I can go on trips, and I had all my cash saved up. My cousin finally paid me everything he owed me, and it was over $500, so I had to go to a separate counter and off to the right side of the separate counter for the cash payment, and I had to sign paperwork that I'm using cash. And it was a little process. I had to wait a long time. You might be a
drug dealer, a real dangerous terrorist, man. We got to watch you.
They don't have the right to tell you can't use more than $10,000 to buy a car or put money down in a house. That's not right at all. We need to reverse every single thing that's wrong, period, everything.
But you see, through our silence, they do have the right because we all comply, you see.
Yeah, silence equals compliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the right to try. We have the right to non-comply.
Unfortunately, it seems as though there's a virus going around that makes people comply and fear resistance or confrontation. I'm sorry, that's the system. The computer says no, all that kind of stuff.
It's the pyramid, man. I mean, they're too big to fail, and we're too small to bail, and the credit is in between. And people wrap their arms around the credit, and that's how they live, and that's because we're all paycheck to paycheck. The majority of us are.
Yeah, they're acting like they're too big to jail. Too big to jail, and if they're that big, they're just too big to be allowed to continue. Just can't happen anymore.
Save your coins; they're worth more than the bills. I know that.
Yeah, that's true because they're issued by the Treasury, and the Federal Reserve will be going down before the Treasury.
Yeah,
and the metal content. Yeah, on top of that, but yeah. Absolutely.
But this business, I call it lowest common denominator laws and practices and legislation. Basically, so much of the time you'll have a system or a practice introduced or a law, like the money laundering thing, which is basically to target a tiny, tiny minority, yet everyone comes under the jurisdiction of that law or practice. And it happens time and time again where people give over their rights en masse for the sake of, prevention of like a small threat kind of thing, And this things are often done under the guise, like, we'll tag your children with an RFID chip so that they can, or fingerprint them so when they get their lunch because, it's quicker. But at the end of the day, fingerprinting your kids to get their lunch we know that's going to eventually end up on some database with NSA or a similar authority here in the UK or wherever, and so it's all, things are always presented under the guise or sold to us under the guise of one thing, but the intention behind it is 9 times out of 10 another thing, and it's abused,
Absolutely.
We should be protesting this concept of having ourselves databased in the first place. We didn't live in a state of anarchy, back in the day when databases didn't exist.
In
True.
the 80s, I don't know all the reasons why, but for whatever reasons, everyone's name was swapped back and forth between one agency or another for one reason or another about 10,000 times per day from the CIA, just for one reason or another, just to maybe add it to a new database and then a new one, then a new one, then a new one, or for some kind of survey, some kind of analysis, for whatever kind of collective knowledge they were trying to figure out about our population.
Hold the thought. We'll be right back, guys. This is The Gray Zone, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 347-688-2902. We have about 3 minutes. We'll hit you up then. Peace. Welcome to The Gray Zone, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com.
Hello and welcome back to the TheGrayZone Roundtable with myself, Wingman, Rectify, and a few others here. We are 100% listener supported, as you well know. We had a slight little hiccup there with the audio sound bites. Sorry about that, but that's because we need some of your money to make it more professional and flow better. So send us some of your money. Go to freedomslips.com. There's a support button there. And yes, have a yard sale, sell some gold. Don't sell your mother, but send us some money. That would be appreciated. So, where were we?
That's the only way we breathe. All the listeners out there, your little bits of shillings that you send us, is the only way we get by. I mean, it just pays the bills. It does not pay for any of the production. It does not pay for any of the engineering. It does not pay for any of the hosts. All of us are volunteers. So yeah, freedomslips.com, hit that site support button. It's the only way that Revolution Radio has a breath. So keep us breathing. We appreciate it.
We're about $250 short at the moment, so that would be good. Yeah, 5 days we've got to reach that target.
We got a big seed pack. You get almost, 35,000 seeds or something for a $100 donation. Just mention seed pack in the donation bar, when you the PayPal. But yeah, that's $100. You get that many seeds. You can hand them out. They're all heirloom seeds, so you'll get seeds every year. You can replant them year after year, non-GMO. Almost every veggie you can think of, every variety even. So it's a good thing to invest in. But yeah, go ahead, Wingman. Sorry.
No, just trying to recall where we were before the slightly longer break than
We're
normal.
talking about true ownership, money, finance, fiat. Do you really own your vehicle? Even though they give you what we call a pink slip, it's not really true ownership. It's a rental agreement of sorts.
Okay. So, does this happen anywhere else with regards to where we're given the guise or given the illusion of ownership, but it's not actually any true ownership? Can anyone think of any other examples?
Yes, I can
Property
speak.
taxes, yeah.
Were you talking about geography or just another instance other than automobiles?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got another example, Bruce.
So I'm assuming, Wingman, with that accent, you're calling from France?
We miss you. I'm calling for France.
Yes. The way it's done in Canada is that when you register the vehicle, basically the registrar of motor vehicles becomes the owner of the vehicle. So if you're at the side of the road and you get pulled over, and this is a big phenomenon in Canada right now. They're really cracking down on it. There's a lot of press in the national papers in the last 2 years, and warnings that the judges are going to become quite severe. But we have this movement called the Free Man on the Land movement, and they can't quite beat these guys in court. The Canadian ones are really, really smart, and it poses a lot of problems for the police. They pull you over. You have what are called personalized unregistered plates. And they pull you over, and generally the vehicle was never registered. So when they go to tow, you say, hey, that's my private property. You can't take that. That's an unregistered vehicle. And generally the police will comply with the law because that is the law. But now, recently I've noticed in Canada that even when you buy land, I bought 20 acres just north of Toronto. And when the title came in, it said that I was the registered owner, which means that they sold it to my legal person. So I don't own it in the common law sense.
Can I just come in there before anyone else does and say phenomenon, for some reason, is my favourite word. Just want to say that. Any response from anyone there? I see hijackers joined us.
Actually, that reminds me.
Yeah, we've been joined by
the
the hijacker. The doorbell rings. Everybody out there listening, just know that on the Gray Zone, that's how you know we've been joined by and filled each seat around the table. So, hijacker, how you doing?
Jacker.
I'm just in and out. Just to let everybody know, 6 hours ago, an X-Class 5 flew off the sun at millions of miles an hour.
We had a solar flare today, huh?
Massive.
X5's not that big. If it was an X17 or something, I'd be more worried.
Well, that's just what they say it is. But
was that directed?
But last time, there was 4 X-Class flares that followed something like this. So, just giving everybody the heads up, big one.
Did it
not too many hours.
Coronal mass ejection? Because I know some flares, they don't put out a CME, they just flare, put out the X-rays, and then some actually put out particulate matter.
Yeah.
Just search it. This was big, and it fired off the sun faster than I've ever seen it. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, if it put out some, a CME, then we should expect personalities to flare up within 3 days. It usually arrives. The flare itself, it only takes about 8 minutes. It travels at the speed of light. But a coronal mass ejection that usually comes along with a flare, a solar flare, that takes about 72 hours on average to get to you. So
yeah, if it's heading our way, I think it's 9 minutes though for the flare rays to get here. Am I wrong? Maybe I forgot.
It's like 8 or 9 minutes. Yeah, it's the speed of light basically. But yeah, as quick as he was in, Jacker is out. So.
A good little
Jacker style right there.
Yeah, thief in the night.
Yeah, Wingman though. My comment was phenomenon. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It's like a Muppet show or a kid show.
Phenomenon.
Yeah.
Phenomenon.
Exactly.
But no, it sounded like that. I think that's why I like it. I don't know. I think that's probably. Every time I hear phenomenon, I think of that shit.
Phenomena.
You got more information on the flare.
Phenomena. Okay.
Chat room. From the Shaking of Freedom Slips, KC says X-Flare.
Correct.
Yeah, returning Sunspot A of 1967 unleashed a powerful X 4.9 class solar flare on February 25th at 0:49 UTC. This is the most intense flare of 2014 so far, and one of the most intense of the current solar cycle. NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory recorded the extreme ultraviolet flash, and I believe Casey in chat is going to drop a link to, I'm assuming it's going to be a NASA SOCOM information.
Yay, KC. Thank you, KC.
Okay, that's awesome.
Phenomenon.
Let's all do this.
The
girls got to do.
Do 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 do. I forgot how it goes. I know.
Everybody in chat.
We sound like little lemmings.
I'm not sure if that's going to get us in trouble, and we are broadcasting on things.
Oh, nature.
I'll definitely have to edit that out now before I put it up on YouTube.
Don't worry about it, Steve.
YouTube.com/
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, Steve. They're just a bunch of Muppets. They won't
That
do
was
anything.
under 50 seconds, so that's not going to get us in trouble on this broadcast for sure. But
I hope not, man. You're my boss. So I don't know about that.
it won't get us in trouble. If it does, I'll take the flak.
Oh, really? And the fine? What about the fine?
I'm pretty sure it's not going to get us in trouble because I play like 50 seconds of stuff on Sean's show all the
I
time.
was just going to say he does it all the time on there,
Yeah.
so I know he's fine.
And I think you
plus-
have like 72 seconds technically you can do it for, I
Yeah,
think,
and
right?
plus, I don't even think we archive here on this particular show.
Hey,
I
so
I did see
private
it.
on my own channel, but no,
Oh, I did see it. I saw this on. Yeah, I did actually.
the Gray Zone. You've seen us
I
archive
saw
that.
yes, GrayZone Archive. I'm not kidding.
I saw it on your
Like
website.
rules against archiving roundtables.
I thought so too.
No, you can't. Oh, maybe archiving, but you can tape it personally and put it
No,
up on
I
YouTube.
saw it on the YouTube archive. I'm not kidding. The
Oh,
GrayZone.
And
I have
I saw it on your. You have a
Wingman
YouTube channel,
has a YouTube channel for the Gray Zone, but
Yeah.
I don't think that Freedom Slips, part of
Oh, okay. So that was posted because you were okay. I got it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I saw it because I was looking at your circuit that you built, and then I noticed that you had some Gray Zone archives there. as
Yeah,
well.
that's what it was.
So, talking of phenomenon, have you guys got any favourite words and why in particular? I'd
I'm
be quite intrigued.
melancholy. Melancholy is my favorite word.
slacks. That
Huh?
bothers me.
Filibuster.
Slacks.
Why slacks?
I don't know. I like pants. It works.
Yeah, I like pants.
Slacker,
Bill? What's yours, Bill?
mutuality. It's
Mutuality.
Mutuality. It's a very important word to me. Very important.
How
And I
about
am
trans-
trying to spread it.
Transcendence. Transcendence.
Nice.
That is a
Steve,
deep word.
no, Steve, I'm very curious about. Steve, what's yours?
I don't know if I really have one.
Everybody has a favourite word.
It's mutuality.
I don't know. I don't really.
Steve!
I've never really thought of a particular word that I like so much. Sometimes I go through trends of words.
There you go.
Like a word will be on my tongue often, and I'll end up finding an excuse to use it in sentences, which I don't even feel like I'm doing right this second.
Oh, what's your favorite movie title then?
My favorite movie title?
Yeah, that might include your favorite word. You don't even know it yet.
Favorite movie title? I don't really have a favorite movie title.
Phenomena.
The Matrix, I could say, is my favorite movie.
Oh, cool.
I like that word actually a lot. I do like the word matrix.
See?
That's a good word,
Did we hear Bruce's favorite word?
Describe a lot of different things.
Yeah, Bruce.
Did we hear Bruce's?
No, we
Well,
didn't, Bruce.
It's
Did we?
filibuster because
Oh,
it
okay. I couldn't hear it.
never
Okay.
really resolves itself.
What's the
It's
filibuster?
It's like the repeating 3 in a math fraction.
Wow.
Wow.
That's so happy.
No, what's it?
I like clappers as well.
People in the chat, oh my gosh, people in the chat are teasing Steve Travesty. They're saying, Jerry said Bogart is Steve's fave, and then Dude Guy says Steve's favorite word is travesty.
It was Steve, but it could have been travesty. Yeah.
Let's see. I have another, it would be a seriously, and then the other one would be, and it's so out, but I love cray cray just because it's so fun to be out, because it's so cray cray, and I know that's terrible, and I'm sorry, it's cray cray, but anyway.
What's that mean? Like crazy?
It means totally crazy. Yeah, exactly. And, totes cray cray, babe. Anyway, but yeah, I agree with Travesty on that, my favorite words are fleeting. There's the word of the day many times in my world, but, fleeting, yes, fleeting.
Fleeting my mind right now. I forgot.
Instead of fleeting, it's fleeting. Okay.
Oh, you got to say the T. See, I say butter, but you meant to say butter. I used to get hit on the head. At school, every time I said butter, I used to get donked on the head.
Oh my God, dude guy just said my favorite word, which is anti-disestablishmentarianism. That is actually my favorite word. I spelled it in a spelling bee when I was like in 8th grade. I swear. And oh my gosh, dude guy, you just read my mind.
Anyone whose favorite word is anti-disestablishmentarianism.
And speaking of dude guy in the chat, there,
Just pretentious.
Dude guy also confirmed we are going to get a slight bow shock from the coronal mass ejection that was produced by the X-Class flare today.
So we're going to get glanced.
We're going to have a glancing hit. So in 3 days, you're going to see people have some mood issues and all that.
Thank you. Wonderful.
I think I have 2 favorite words now. I can't, my own word I like a lot, but, that is good. And you know what we are? We really should get back to the war. We are kind of in a revolution. Let's get back to the revolution.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I just came out.
Viva la revolution.
I said that. I was drunk or something.
Viva la raza.
Yeah.
Viva la revolution. I can't say it anymore. I'm doing a Castro accent. But what you were saying earlier, Bill, about the taking control of local law enforcement. I am warming towards that idea to get someone as a sheriff that won't necessarily enforce all the ridiculous laws, but will enforce the law of the community, which is morality.
Right. We need to start local. We need to start local, but we need to do all of what we're capable of doing, but we're going to be the most effective locally, and of course wherever we really all join together on. So we really need to just try to stay working together.
We need our own mercenary teams. I hate to say this. It's been demonized really bad having mercenary teams
or even militia too.
A militia, that word's been really demonized. But here's the thing. I do watch and follow a site called copblock.org.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a group of people all around the nation. What they do is they take the biggest weapon, in my opinion, in the world right now, which is their cameras, and they go and follow police on their stops, and they videotape them. They put oversight. They make sure there's transparency, They invoke the fear of you're being watched over these authoritarians. And that's where it needs to start. We need more mercenary teams just doing peaceful acts like exposing corruption on the local level.
We got Jacker, but you know what I was going to do, and this really pissed off Bernie Mendez when I told him this. If anyone knows who that is. I had planned for years to videotape me driving in traffic and showing just how many police officers are regularly speeding with the normal traffic when they're not arresting anyone. And you'd be surprised at how many you can get. And those are kind of the good guys. They're not pulling you over necessarily, but you should always have it on camera and hopefully know who it is you're dealing with in case they do pull you over. But in any case, we just need to show that average traffic is always technically speeding anytime there are no police around.
It's actually unsafe not to stay up with the flow of traffic.
You're correct. It's, if you're weak and you can't handle not crashing in many circumstances anyway, you probably shouldn't be on the road for that.
Stay off the road. Stay off the road.
Get off. Get off.
Why do the slowest drivers always like to get to the fast lane?
Yeah, they're more dangerous. They can't respond correctly. They're just not capable of just handling it.
My father is a cop for 14 years. He taught me how to drive when I turned 15 and a half. But one of the biggest tips that he taught me as a CHP officer was the slow lane on the freeways is always the best throughput.
Yeah.
It really is.
Something I noticed the other day is that I observed, I was going to see a friend traveling a few hundred miles on the motorway, and I noticed the police car passed me, and as I was watching it up in the distance, the whole motorway slows down not to overtake and speed past
You got
police
sheep
car.
following
The
sheep.
speed
You'll
car-
see a whole pack of
because-
them
hold
following
on,
each other
hold
for
on,
no
hold on.
reason.
Hold on. And it's because the speed car was doing the bang on the speed limit. Basically, what happens in the UK, most people do over the speed limit. The flow is where the law says 70 miles an hour. Most people do between 75 and 80. So, of course, as soon as they see the police car, everyone slows down, everyone bunches up. So it's actually more dangerous having the speed limit as it is than the police pretending to do the proper speed. It causes more dangerous because people are the stopping distance is closer and everything. It's great. I see it every time. But with regards to the law enforcement and locality, see, one of the problems I've noticed with regards to courage, and courage is a real problem when it comes to wanting to do the right thing, but not doing the right thing because of fear of persecution. So this thing called persecution, the threat of persecution, always crops up when people want to do the right thing, because inadvertently doing the right thing somewhere along the lines will become unlawful or might infringe upon a law or might offend or might put you in the path of the police. So this is why I think it is quite important, quite a good avenue to explore, because of this constant fear of persecution. If you can overcome that problem, which is really the first brick in the wall, then I think we could start to encourage the courageousness to emerge. What do you think of that?
I'm glad you said that, Wingman, because I was thinking of bringing up we need more not pace car driver people. Well, actually, another version of the pace car. I used to drive regularly a long distance on the highway, and there's certain people that always would be the speeder that everybody else would follow. They'd get behind that speeder because they knew that would be the one who would be pulled over by the police. And literally sometimes I would choose to be the leader and speed up faster, and then everyone would follow me, and then sometimes I would follow some other leader. We need more leaders to take more risks. And then sometimes, in the last car, sometimes the cops just grab the very last herd member, the slowest of the herd.
I saw a really disturbing video yesterday, actually, on YouTube. It was out of Oakland, California, and it was just all these street racers stopping an entire interstate, just stopping it, and then doing donuts in front, while the whole interstate is stopped. And then it goes to another scene where they're on the streets, street racing and doing donuts and all this, and a cop rolls up, and the cop doesn't do anything about it. He gets bottles thrown at his vehicle, and he takes off in fear. And then it shows another, that was a city cop, and then it shows a sheriff. Another vehicle pulls up, and same thing. They don't do anything. They're scared. They're going after the weak. It's all about revenue generation right now because everybody is hurting.
I regularly do, when I'm on the motorway, I normally do around about 100 miles an hour. Because I don't really care that the speed limit is 70. I do.
40 for me.
I have a Mazda RX-8. It's quite powerful. Well, it's quite a nice sports car.
So where do you do that? Like on the city streets or on like a freeway or what? Like are you on the what is it, the Bahn or?
Well, I was in Belgium last week, and I drove all the way to Bruges between 120 and 130 mile an hour.
Holy.
120. But the problem is not much. You see, that car is very stable and very safe. I'd probably say safest at around about the 100 mile an hour mark. Mm-hmm. But even at 120, you don't really notice a thing. The car's not shaking or anything. It's very stable. But unfortunately, someone pulled out into the fast lane where I was, and just avoided hitting me when I was doing 120. So I think the problem with regards to speed is not really necessarily always the individual that's driving, it's the other road users. So if I'm doing 120, chances are the other road users aren't astute enough to be able to, see me and give me the right distance and judge the speed I'm going at and so on. So I think 100 is perfectly fine. I think many of the cars today, we've moved on in terms of car safety. So I think the limits. I think it's at 55 over there most of the time, isn't it?
We've been joined by a self-admitted square peg at the round table here at the Gray Zone. Dude Guy, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, dude.
Hey,
Dude Guy. Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
I think you muted there, dude.
Yeah, you gotta unmute that mic.
Ooh, genius.
Okay. There you are.
Yep.
It
We're
happens.
in the midst of an automotive filibuster.
Automotive
Now,
filibuster.
Everyone in the chat, just to interrupt, I'm so sorry, but listen. So everyone's questioning whether or not you're talking about kilometers per hour or kilometers, however you say it, or
No, miles per hour. 130 miles per hour,
Yeah,
yeah.
babies. Everyone is looking at the fact that, we're talking miles per hour, so that's fast.
Oh, yeah.
You're
That's nothing to me.
fast, Wingman.
Wingman, are you like the James Bond of this station, or what is it?
You guys
is
didn't
it?
hear my story on Robert
Short
Pepino's
story.
show.
Mhm.
You didn't hear my driving habits on Robert's
What's that?
show.
What are they?
Oh, well, let's let Dude Guy talk. And then I'll tell you.
definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Say that
I
long
just want to say
word.
hi.
Your favorite word. Let's hear that first.
Hear it. Let's hear it.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Whoa.
Now,
Heck
what
of a
does that
word.
mean?
Let's put that on the back of our jackets and T-shirts.
It's the state versus church, isn't it? It's church versus state.
Yeah, it was for during like the English Civil War, all the when they were protesting against the Church of England and stuff like that. So it's a political position, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Fit that on a
I know
license plate.
this, which is so weird.
Yeah, which is it's. I think at one time it was the longest word in the English language. I don't know if that's still the case because there's some new
Right.
chemical and technological words that might be longer now.
Correct.
But that was the big when you're learning your spelling bee in like 5th grade or something. Like, this is the killer word. You must know this word. And you knew that like your librarian who was running the spelling bee was like, I know that little pestering kid has been making noise in the library. I'm going to give him anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yeah, but if that word is made out of other easy words to spell, though, like it'll be kind of easy to remember.
True.
It's just the pressure.
Not the methyl ethyl cyclonocic,
It's built up in your mind. It's like, not anti-disestablishmentarianism. No.
I won the spelling bee.
Yes,
Anyway,
Ansel won with that word. So.
I know, I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm muting now to let other people speak.
Hey, Bruce, we haven't heard from you in a while. You still out there, or are you falling asleep?
No, I'm here. I'm just attentively listening. We
have some crazy fun here on the Gray Zone, wouldn't you say? We go all over the place.
Indeed. I don't drive, so so
I don't either.
really,
I travel.
Yeah, I gave up driving about 7 years ago and bought a really good $1,000 bicycle. And in the wintertime, I just used public transport. I became a vegetarian at the same time. I had a big life change moment about 7 years ago.
Were you not here for our early conversation about animals?
Yeah, I joined just at the tail end of that. I believe we were at Chicken McNuggets.
Yeah.
That was true.
Stink slime.
Bruce, if you were hungry and you had no vegetables, would you eat squirrel?
Well, I mean, absolutely, of course, I would.
Okay. Just curious.
And if I'm looking at setting up something of a hobby farm in southern Costa Rica on 35 hectares, I might go back to chicken if I raise it.
How many hectares in an acre?
2.4.
Okay.
So how many?
That's a heck of a lot of hectares.
So hectares is a hectare is a smaller measurement than an acre.
No, it's 2.4 times bigger.
Okay, so how many acres in a hectare? In a hectare, in other words.
How many acres in a hectare?
Yeah, because you were.
Oh, did I answer that in the reverse? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was my question.
A little bit of mathematical dyslexia there. It's 2.4 acres per hectare. So
okay.
You're looking at 35 is 2. 0.4 is about 82, 83 acres.
So you want to multiply a hectare by like 2.5 to get your acre.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought you just buried a couple guys named Hector myself. I mean,
That's a lot.
So how many hockey rinks are on this land per hectare?
There's no hockey in Costa Rica.
What?
I have a full suit of equipment with $600 super
I
tax
thought-
skates, and I will not be using it over there unless they decide to go to the Olympics. I might be able to approach.
Yeah, they have a bobsled team in Jamaica. It's your destiny to make the Puerto Rican hockey team.
You're going to be the one they make.
Costa Rican.
Yeah, Costa Rican hockey team. You can do it. This is
They'll make
your
I don't
quest.
know.
Quest for gold.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're a soccer people. But yeah, I might go
There
back
are
to maybe.
soccer people.
Like
Never
most
say
Latin
never.
countries.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ever.
Anyway.
The Olympics were just here. I thought we'd have a little inspirational moment.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we have California going dry, all the crops going.
Yeah, but have they
Well,
said that
it's
they're doing that on purpose? I mean, they didn't fix the irrigation system. It's not just that it's not raining. I mean, it is a desert naturally. The irrigation for the whole western states is like being shut down.
Yeah, it's all man-made,
And it's also not being repaired. It's all our infrastructure, our roads, our irrigation system, our rails. They're not. I mean, with all the taxes they're taking, they ain't spending dime one on anything.
I shed a
The
tear.
nation running.
I shed a tear yesterday. I called my grandma. It's been, a couple months. So I called my grandma up because my uncle's been going through this
Oh yeah.
in the hospital and all that. So I called my grandma up to catch up, and somehow we get into Obama talk.
Oh, no.
And she says, I love that guy. You stand behind, I stand behind. This is a woman that came out of World War II torn Germany, under Hitler. And all the people supported Hitler too, right? And they all got duped. And it's the same system that's going on here.
Hitler actually fixed the economy.
Right.
At least he actually did something before
Right.
he became evil.
And the people
Obama hasn't even done that.
No, I know. And then the people are getting duped that easily. He doesn't even have to put on that magic act of the economy being fixed, right? And people are still praising him. My own grandmother. And she also said that on top of it, this is the cherry on top. She said everything on the TV is the truth, otherwise it wouldn't be on the TV.
You wouldn't say that. Come on.
Yes. And I didn't know what to say. She's 87 years old.
I think I heard you say that on another one of your roundtables. But hey, listen, they spent how many $1 billion on that new train in California, the magnetic?
No, they haven't. It's on the board still, right? Rectify. It has not been. They just keep Governor Brown and all that. They just keep bantering that thing around. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I mean,
I thought they accepted it. I thought they.
I don't think it's. Is it still on the board?
So they're
I'm
going to
not
build
sure.
a new train, but they don't have any water?
Yeah, like a $2 billion train system.
Yeah. May I just say that I wanted to ask Dude Guy a question. I think that was you talking about the fact that there are no irrigation systems being funded at the moment. Do you think that you could find a little bit of that information? Because I would really like to cover that. I'm I'm a big water advocate. I'm not an expert on anything, but I would love to cover that on the show.
Sure.
Where are you finding that?
Well, there's a whole story about another thing that President Kennedy was going to do was this huge water project in the West called NWAPA, and this is something Lyndon LaRouche. Yeah, Lyndon LaRouche talks about it. It's the North American Water and Power Administration.
Okay.
And they were going to do all these, build all these new irrigation networks down from the mountains and even as far as the Great Lakes and water the whole West. And also at the same time they were going through these canals, they were going to build dams and create electric power from it too.
Right.
And so this would have powered, it would be environmentally clean power plus bringing water in the entire West. And this was just like a big project that was already created, going to be announced, and of course he was killed. And so they already knew back in 1962 that this needed to be done because the aquifer that is being drawn from in the West is getting lower and lower and lower. The Ogallala Aquifer.
Yes.
So Lyndon LaRouche covers this, but if you, I will find a couple stories for you that are like news related. But if you might also want to study NWAPA, which I'll give you a link to that too.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, and thank you so much. Yeah, I definitely want to cover this. And thanks. That's very interesting because I've actually driven by that particular, a few of those, huge particular pipe things that are supposed to be bringing in water from Nevada or Colorado River, that type of thing toward California. And I've seen that entire thing. And I've seen it, basically dry up. I mean, I'm no expert, like I said, but it's very interesting because, it's a really good point talking about drought. For instance, I know people that have, in Kansas, dry land wheat, which completely relies on, snow and precipitation and this type of thing. And there is no irrigation in that particular area. But in California, I mean, there was a huge movement to irrigate, much of the land, many crops, etc. So for you to tell me this right now is incredibly interesting, and that's why I love the roundtables, and that's why I love Revolution Radio, is because I learn so much, and I find out so much about things that are so important that nobody has any idea about unless they're paying attention. And so thanks so much because, dude guy, I do consider you to be a wise man. As I do many of the people on this call, all of you are wise people.
Not a wise guy, but yeah.
Yeah. And so in general, I'm very honored to be on this call.
Good.
And thanks for that information, dude guy. That's all. Spam. Okay. Boom.
Thank you. I think we got somebody on the call. Did somebody join?
Yeah, Pete called in, but he dropped. But we'll see if he gets back in here. It's actually my father.
No way.
He wants to tell some cop stories, some CHP, some chips stuff, I guess.
Or maybe about your mom or your grandmother who believes everything on TV.
Right, and maybe. He didn't know about that, so yeah.
Does he know Eric Estrada?
Eric with a K, by the way. Eric with a K is the
National Enquirer.
Right. Hey, what about, I may have missed this, I was a little distracted, but anyone know anything about, let's say, what do you call it when you use reverse osmosis to gather water, like from the ocean in California?
Well, reverse osmosis is a type of filtering. That's done at our sinks.
Yeah, well, I meant if they had any plans to use that for getting water. I know
desalinization.
Desalinization is electrolysis. It's energy intensive. You'd also need to build a wave action power plant to really do it. They do that in Saudi Arabia where they have a lot of solar power to do it. So if you're going to do that on a large scale, you'd also need to build a power plant for the process.
Oh, I didn't think it took that much energy. But yeah, good answer.
Angela? Is Angela there?
Yes, I'm here. What was the question? I'm sorry, I was typing.
Oh, it's not a question. I just want to tell you that if you want to further your research into water, one of the world's leading speakers on water now is a Canadian woman. Yeah, a Canadian woman named Maud Barlow. Maud, and then there's Maud.
M-A-U-D-E, Barlow.
Yeah, Barlow, and if you just Google her, you'll find all kinds of white papers. You guys know we have about 34% of the world's fresh water up here in Canada, right?
I knew this, because I came from the Great Lakes area.
Hey, we share it with you, Bub.
Yeah, a few of the
water, man.
Michigan, Lake Michigan, Lake Ontario, Lake Huron, they all kind of straddle the states as well, Minnesota. And but that's not just all we have. You just keep going north, and it's endless lakes.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the maps, and that's great because it's So I suppose soon we will be gathering, I'm sure there'll be some type of trade agreement eventually where the U.S. gets its water from Canada because, as you were mentioning, all the aquifers are drying up. I'm not really sure. It'll be very interesting to see the cooperation between the two countries on the same continent to see if we can work together. We know that I don't know what I don't say we know, I take that back. But I wonder what the water content in Mexico is. These are things I really need to research. So, I'm glad we're talking about it because, again, I'm no expert, but I'm definitely here to, inspire people to bring the truth, et cetera.
Angela,
blah, blah. Yes.
The California was a desert, before they did these projects. And so, like the Central Valley project I just put a link to, that was done in the Depression as one of the Roosevelt projects, and it has these things haven't been maintained, and people are trying to get more investment again. So the volume of water that it can bring is reduced over time if you don't invest in maintaining it.
You're right, because the dams are not being, the infrastructure of the dams I heard are not they're not upkept at all lately. Some of them, they're really.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, so the water just leaks out because you need to have sluiceways so it doesn't just leak into the ground before it gets to where it needs to go. You have to have concrete, that's why you have all those concrete waterways there, where they're supposed to bring water from, all the way from the river.
The LA River.
Yeah, all the way to, the farmers' fields and to the cities. If you don't have a guiding,
Pipe.
Yeah, the pipes or sluiceways, it's just going to all go into the ground or dry up before it ever gets to where it needs to go. So if they don't maintain that stuff, the water never gets there.
Wow.
Right, right.
It makes perfect sense what you're saying, as usual. So I'm going to look into that a little more and get into it this week, I think, on the show, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern on Studio B. I'm a big advocate of anything water. I really think we should all be paying attention to the water issue in general. People are talking about oil. They're talking about gas.
For God's sakes, didn't they make it illegal to collect rainwater a year or two ago?
Yeah, it's weird that Australia has based a lot of their on the collection of rainwater on people's roofs, etc., roofs, however you want to put it. It's almost essential in the, because it's a huge desert with a coastal territory basically that is populated in Australia. And basically, if you don't collect rainwater, you're lacking in water capabilities, and their showers are very, very sparse with their spray, etc. So the water issue in Australia after the drought, it has been really intense, and these people learned their lesson.
Look how Monsanto's killing all of our heirloom farmers, right? Okay,
I know.
And their seed is getting transported over to heirloom farms, and all of a sudden their plants become GMO, so then they get sued because that is a patent infringement, right? It's an intellectual rights infringement on a patent. So imagine this now, the chemtrails, they add one component that makes the rain or snow patented. And now if it feeds your plants, just like making rainwater illegal, they can come after you.
Can I say one more thing to Angela, might help her in her research? The federal agency that maintains this infrastructure is called the Bureau of Reclamation. Not a lot of people know about it.
Reclamation. Hold on, I'm putting
it says a reclaiming of waters. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and there's a news story 3 days ago that just says U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, Central Valley will not receive federal water aid.
What? Wait a minute. What? Say that again?
On
Bakersfield
ABC News, U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, Central Valley will not receive U.S. water aid. Here's the story.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you can look up.
Man.
You can look how the Bureau of Reclamation's budget has been cut.
They're creating a Revelation type famine, is what they're doing.
Yeah, it's not an accident.
Yeah, everything is reversed like we were talking about before. It should be practically the law that you have to collect your own rainwater and not take it.
I mean,
Yeah. Amen.
Not take it, not drain the desert dryer.
It's illegal for people to collect. I think it was in Washington State. They literally were monitoring people who were collecting too much rainwater in their bins. And I sat there. I remember covering the story like a year and a half ago. Something like, and I was so blown away at the concepts, I couldn't even handle it. And listening to the Australians talk about the fact that they had gone through such a drought, for like a 10-year drought, and everybody was encouraged and or almost sanctioned. I don't know about sanctioned, but
speaking
to collect
of Australians, we have Australian Paul on the line now. He just joined us, so go ahead, Angela. But we can get a first-hand
I'm good.
What you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby.
Go, Paul.
Hello, my honey. Sorry, it's my turn. Hello, my honey. Hello, my Angie. Hello, my Angie girl.
Nice, baby.
She's been a fantastic person, and we are one of the pain in the butts on radio. I'm sorry to say, but hello, Angie, you can speak underwater, and I'm always going to say that.
Thanks, honey. It's nice to hear from you, Paul.
But anyway, bugger me. All our grass fires have turned the sheepland into non-edible. So actually, I've got one of the sheep in the world, and I don't really care because I'm down in Melbourne town, and we're not really allowed to have sheep, but I don't care. But because, hey, he's got nowhere to eat, and we've sent him around. Well, there were only 5 sheep that needed to go, and he's well, I don't really want to say it correctly, but he is a eatable sheep. In other words, what we call a killer sheep. You know, but we would like to keep him, you know, really, really happy all the way through his idealism to say, you know, and make him grow up to actually edible stages. Because I call him Weber, and that's where he's going to end up eventually.
At the Weber, the grill.
Yes, definitely. He's going to taste fantastic.
That's true.
Do you shave is that what has wool, or am I thinking of a lamb?
No, he has wool, and don't
Okay.
you worry. I've been a roustabout for a long time, and this and that, the other, and Paul, you know, I'm the hands-on dude. I don't read, I don't spell correctly. Hello to everyone in chat. It's Paul, Australian Paul, here.
Yeah, Australian Paul in the house.
The non-complier.
Please, I prefer to talk, and I love Guy, I love Wingman, I love Rectify, Heather.
Love you too, Paul. I wanted to introduce some of the love that helped create me. My father, Pete, has joined the call. But go ahead, Ozzy, Paul, go ahead. Continue
guys.
love, man.
Thank you, Pete. I'm the pain from Australian Down Under, and I love my animals. This is what I do. You know,
the koala bear or the kangaroo?
Beg your pardon?
The koala bear or the kangaroo?
No, we've got many marsupials.
Can I ask you, Australian Paul, when I was down in your country, I actually, for the first time, me and Douglas Dietrich we sampled kangaroo meat. Do you guys raise kangaroo specifically for eating as opposed to like the other kinds? I mean, is there a market for that, and do they do it differently?
And let me tag my question on. Is there kangaroo milk?
No. There's no kangaroo milk, right? But since we've actually made more grasslands, kangaroos have actually been put this way, they've exploded in the population.
I heard that. Yeah.
That's good, right?
Well, in a roundabout way, okay, but if you drive on the night time and they're on the road and this and that, especially on dirt roads, no, I don't think so. But
so that would be kangaroo roadkill, right? Basically.
Exactly.
All right, I need a popular consensus. We have always the option on Tuesday mornings here to go another hour overtime. I need to know from all of everybody at the circle here if we want to do that or not. I could set it up if you have the energy, or we can say goodnight to the audience.
You should stay on, but I got to sleep. You know me.
Well,
I'm just
one
popping
saying
in.
nay. All right. Anybody else?
Yay.
Yep.
Yay. We
Keep
got
going.
another yay.
I will be going to bed now.
All right. Good night, Bill. Hey, man. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah,
Bill, love you, Bill.
Oh, hey,
Bill.
I got a question anyone might know, though. You know how Jacker brought up the Mexican, the radiation issue? Does anyone know more about that?
Probably
No,
you
I
guys.
did actually.
Which radiation? Where, in California, you mean?
No, specifically Mexico.
I did give him a hypothetical to go research on the burp on it, but other than that, No, I haven't heard anymore. So
I'll look into it. Is there a news story about it, or you just
It was like breaking news from Jacker last night.
radiation all over Mexico or on the coast or something?
I think it was Mexico City. I'm not sure. I really can't remember.
Mexico City isn't on the coast, though, so we're trying to talk about Fukushima radiation or what?
No, I don't think it was. That's why it was kind of a mystery. It was like extremely high levels, at least compared to normal or for history there. But I didn't get to
Bill,
tell
he's
you.
trying to ask people, he's going to probably hear the music pretty soon. I was just saying that I can hang on a little bit, but maybe not for the whole next, round, but about everybody else.
Well, you're putting in your time for sure, Noreen, and you're awesome. Just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, you already did, 4 hours now,
Noreen.
so
Yeah.
rock on.
And Noreen, nobody has an accent quite like you, and I just want to let you know that, you
An
are
accent? Really?
your
That's
accent.
awesome.
Yeah, no, and
I'm a Californian. I'm not supposed to have one.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff. And also, you're an intelligent woman who does a lot of great communicating. So it's very cute, the combination of it all. And I'm a big fan of yours. So I just
Thank you. I'm a big fan of you too. So.
Aw,
sweet.
I still have to tell my car the speeding issue quick.
Yeah, why don't you do that when he continues? So he's trying to find out. You could stay on and talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're about to go to a break. It might end us. The auto server sometimes just kicks in and plays a replay. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm going to hold on, and if it continues, whoever's going to stick around is going to stick around. We'll do an hour overtime here at the Gray Zone.
I'll watch the system over here, and I'll make sure you guys get the next hour.
Sweet. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to
go ahead and plug your guest, man.
Yeah. I was really excited because I had to. If you guys noticed, I had to shut up for a long period of time, which is unlike my guest for my show tomorrow or later today, depending on your perspective. Called me up. I needed to touch base with him for tomorrow, and I'm really excited about him for me on a personal level. His name's Jordan Pierce. He is known on YouTube for the animated series called Spirit Science, which is all about, esoteric sciences and the hidden history, whatever. And he does these awesome, really super cool flash animations that are all about, like, the spirituality, the quote-unquote New Age movement and all that stuff, and really teaches a great lesson, and it's a lot of really smart work. And he's got a website called thespiritscience.net.
What time is Ghost in the Machine on?
That it's on at 8 p.m. Studio A. It's right after Sean David Morton.
Sweet.
12 o'clock Australian time. Midday.
I don't know. You have to do your own time zones, okay?
No, I'm just saying. I'm letting you know, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I love you, Bearded Dragons, bro.
Thank you.
5 p.m. tomorrow on the West Coast.
For you over there.
Ghost in the Machine, 5 p.m. tomorrow Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Jordan Pierce. I'll be there, man. Sounds great.
Yeah, you definitely want to be there. This guy's a wealth of knowledge, and he's doing this thing called the Panic to Freedom movement, which he's going to talk a little bit about, which is kind of like the next step for him in the process of everything he's doing as part of
awesome.
his role in the spiritual advancement of mankind.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This break will probably kick in around 4:01. It's going to be one of those.
Angela, go ahead and plug your show also. Angela Black is back.
That's funny. I'm right. I'm actually. I'm right before Sean's show, actually. Sean David Morton on Studio A at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm on at 5 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Studio B right now, opposite Deacon John, the great Deacon John, who has a show from, I believe, 4 to 6 p.m. on Studio A. So I offer people a choice, or we, actually, at Revolution Radio, offer people a choice. It's not really about ego. It's about bringing you information and tickling your fancy, if you will, and basically giving you a choice to listen to what you want to listen to, which is hopefully us inspiring the truth into your brain, if you will. And so, yeah, 5 to 6 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday on Studio B here at Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Also, check out our new news page, which is on the left of the chat. If you're in the chat room, it's freedomslips.com. You want to go to the news tab and basically, or you can go to freedomslips.com/news. And you can post your own stories because chat, as I mentioned, and my favorite, I think the word of the day, Wingman, is fleeting. Chat is fleeting. So you may not catch all of the links that people post in the chat, everyone, but if you are interested, you can find them posted on the news page. So please go there and look at it because you can post your own amazing links and stories that you have, etc., etc. So there we are.
All right, we're going to break. We're going to be back on the Gray Zone here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. We're going to do some overtime. Stick around.
Across the pond in the United Kingdom to the west coast of Orange County, California. From the Pacific perspective to the Atlantic perspective. From liberal craziness to conservative idealism. From Christianity to atheism belief systems. Welcome to the TheGrayZone Roundtable with Rectify and Wingman at Revolution Radio. freedomslips.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Zone. We're in overtime here on a Tuesday morning, February 25th, 2014, doing the Gray Zone Roundtable. Anybody's welcome to call with their thoughts. It's open for them at 347-688-2902. That's 347-688-2902. And you can also get us at the chat room, which is half the show, at freedomslips.com. Also at freedomslips.com, you can find the site support button. We are 100% listener-supported radio. No corporate ties, no corporate duct tape. We can talk about whatever is on our mind, just no F-bombs, S-bombs, anything against the FCC's rulings. But welcome, everybody, and I'd like to also welcome my co-host Wingman, Noreen Helphand. She does the awesome roundtable before the Gray Zone. Angela Black does an awesome show every week except the hump day. You find her on the afternoons on Studio B. We're also joined by Steve Travesty, Bill Grant, Dude Guy, he's the Encyclopedia Britannica of the 21st century, Australian Paul from Down Under, and Pete. So welcome back, everybody.
Coolness. Hey, I wanted to bring up one quick thing, bringing up Dude Guy and being the encyclopedia. I once listened to this amazing show. I was on a 3-mile walk, which, is kind of big for me in the mountains because the air is thin and I live in a mountain, which I don't belong at. But anyway, so I was listening to Dude Guy and our own, now late, Michael Hemmingson, the former host here on Revolution Radio, who is now deceased, and God rest his soul. And they were doing a Civil War show, I believe. And to listen to these two experts chat in general was one of the most amazing shows. It got me through a 3-mile walk without even noticing. Up on a mountain, really. And I just wanted to point out that, Dude Guy, ever since that show, I really realized what an expert you were on just about everything. And I'm sure you miss our well-loved and now deceased, favorite guy, Michael Hemmingson. And I just wanted to bring that up. R.I.P. Michael Hemmingson.
I do, and I really appreciated him bringing me on to do that show. It was actually a show about kind of the origin of the banking system, its relationship to the War of 1812, all the way to the Civil War.
Right, it was the War of 1812 that you started with. That's correct. My apologies. Yeah, and the entire banking system and the entire setup of it all, and how it wasn't just some random situation. I remember listening to it, and I'm still no expert, but to listen to you two speak was one of my, it was my honor, to listen to that show that day, and I know you guys had a couple of them, so I just wanted to point that out as when I became a belief in your knowledge was that day, because I really didn't know much about you before that, and I just want to let you know that was amazing. And too bad our good friend is gone.
No, I really enjoyed talking to him. That whole show came out of a conversation we had, I think, after a roundtable one time, just off the air, and we were both sharing thoughts that we had, some information we had, and the conversation was so good. He said, "Hey, why don't we just make it a show?" And I just prepped a few notes and links for people, and like a week later, we just went out with a show about it, and it was really cool. And I do miss him, and his presence here will be missed, but he contributed so much, and I really thank him for giving the chance to come on a couple times, and how he gave a lot of his time and effort to the station. Yes,
thanks, and I'm glad you decided to tout in on that, because I'm sorry you guys for bringing that up. I'm not sorry. I thank you for letting me bring that up, because I find it very important, and it's one of the ways that I literally became aware of Dude Guy's Encyclopedia Britannica knowledge was because of that particular show and those shows, a couple, I think.
One thing that'll always make me smile about Hemmingson, we were talking about favorite words today or tonight, clones. It'll always bring a smile to my face.
Yeah, we had a clone show a couple of times. We had a clone. Is your clone fat? Is your clone is your clone more popular than you? Well, come to clone and clone. We do clones. And we had a great joking session about clones.
I'm confused though. You guys think Dude Guy's real? You don't know he's the Utah AI gonna test.
Can I actually butt in?
Yeah,
I'm colonial. Back in the day. So, am I a clone?
I don't know. Have you met your doppelganger?
Let's ask Dude Guy. Dude Guy, is he a clone? The AI should know.
Everybody's a clone.
Yes, wait a minute. We got cloning things going on here, Pete and Rectify, no? Just kidding.
Oh, no, that's called procreation. That's a little different.
I know, it's not the same
Not
thing.
quite a clone.
I know.
I
we
wanted
used to say homie.
Oh, sorry.
No,
you haven't had anything to say. You want to throw in a thought or two?
Well, you guys were talking about, traffic earlier and speeders and all that.
Yeah, you used to pull us over, and you were a revenue generator, right, for the establishment?
No, not really.
Flashbacks.
What? Everything I wrote a ticket for, except for registration, went to the county or the city that was involved in. The state, the CHP didn't get out 1 cent of that. The only revenue we got were for registration tickets.
Huh.
So, it wasn't motivation like a podunk PD has speed traps in the city, you get revenue for the city. No, that wasn't the case with us. But I got a couple of stories about. You're talking about the whole pack of cars going over the speed limit, and one car getting pulled out.
Yep.
Getting overwhelmed.
Music.
That is terrible. Anyway, so you're talking about a pack of cars.
You're talking about a pack of cars speeding.
Yep. Got the lead guy at the front.
You get the lead guy or the back guy.
Uh-huh.
No, I knew a guy I worked with that pull out the car in the middle of the pack. Goes, why'd you pull over me? Everybody around me is doing the same speed. Because you're the green card. Today's green card day.
I heard red is the worst color to travel in.
Oh, absolutely.
Red and yellow. Red and yellow
Look,
stick
dude,
out.
Actually, you know what's funny about that? My very first car was a red Pontiac Grand Am. I never once was pulled over and got a ticket. I got pulled over a couple times and was let go, but I never got a ticket. Then as soon as I got my gray Subaru Forester, which was within like 3 months of owning that vehicle, I got my first ticket. I was like, I had a freaking hot rod for 5 years and I never got a ticket.
That means you
what
could
the
afford
hell?
a lawyer, you know. And if you had the junker, they're like, yeah, this guy can't afford a lawyer. Easy
Yeah. They go
Yeah, Paul, go.
You want a very
my
difficult
turn.
to drive.
I agree with Steve Travesty. Every time I drove my V8 Holden, I never got busted. Every time I drove a little car, I got dicked. Yes. So, I totally agree with Steve. Anytime you're in a manly vehicle and then you drive you get stuffed up. Well,
Yeah, I don't get pulled over in
Like,
my
I think
family
a cop
vehicle.
really feels a threat when they pull over someone in a Prius.
If you put your arm out on the left-hand side, it turns that way.
You know,
Same
and
as
they
that
are.
awesome Miata convertible.
Oh, Miata. There
The
you
Miata
go.
convertibles, yeah.
Well, I used to drive too fast to become part of the pact. I
You
would.
have an RX-8, right?
Oh, what?
You have an RX-8?
An RX-8?
Yeah.
Actually, what is that?
Oh, no, Wingman has got RX-8.
Oh, okay.
It's a Mazda sports car.
Oh, I did used to have a Trans Am, but it was actually had a 4-cylinder engine inside of it. It wasn't even that strong.
Don't tell anybody.
Sacrilege. Oh, my God.
I know. Well, I had to do it for insurance and to save gas. I bought it from a rigged. But that died.
You're not allowed to have the bird on the hood if you got a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. But they get pulled over a lot, and I'd show the cop, hey, this is I wouldn't even be able to speed if I tried practically. My Yugo went about the same speed.
You could put like a chicken on the hood or something. You know.
Yeah, exactly. My Yugo probably went, but my Yugo probably went. My Yugo probably went about 5 miles per hour, maybe 10 or 15 miles per hour faster than my Trans Am.
I would recommend maintaining that speed.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
In Australia, we have a song called "Ego Isn't a Dirty Word," but unfortunately, on the road, yes, it depends on how much average. Because it's funny, it's in Australia they called hypothetical distance to relation because they didn't have the proper radars and LiDAR and this and that, the other. But although we tried and the proper relations, and if you say, well, you were speeding about 120 behind me and I'm only doing 50k in a 40 zone, how the hell can you say that to me? And I've even taken it to court and gone, bugger you. Hypothetical to exact idealism, and you know the problem about that is they brought in real radars, and yeah, we been mucked up on that. So yeah, I should have kept him bloody trap shut. But other than that,
You always want to ask when the last time the radar was tuned, calibrated, and bring in the expert that does that.
don't worry, I'm that such a person too. So yes.
Yeah. When was the last time your radar was tuned?
Right.
How was my accent?
I'm a grease monkey. I can say this to them, and and they don't like it because I go, well, you bring your best head honchos, and I will go to court and muck you over on the discrepancy.
How many times have you been successful in court in your defense?
Well,
He's still here.
a couple of times, and
Yeah, but it's traffic. How much money has he given to the country?
Are you calling from jail
much,
now?
unfortunately, Steve, yes. When you do get busted, and you do get busted cleanly, you do have to pay, and you do. I've got 3 demerit points to come back within a month. Yeah.
Does Australia, do they run on plea deals? Does everybody plead out, basically, of their charges so they don't have to do time?
Yeah, money, and we just bloody cop it on the chin.
Right.
It's great.
Do they ever
Anyway,
try to pull over a kangaroo if it's going too fast? Or,
No, the funny part of
You
that.
can't ride one if you're drunk.
I really still want to talk about milking a kangaroo, but no, I'm kidding.
Anybody remember the arcade Cruisin' World? And you could get in the Hummer on the Australia level, and you can run over the kangaroos.
No.
Great game.
Well,
that's terrible.
That's the Greenpeace edition, right?
You freakazoids.
It's funny as it's
Green
true,
movement.
but it's still funny. If you still knock over a kangaroo, you can still potentially run into a tree and kill yourself. Now, you
30 seconds, Paul. We got to pass them on.
Now, what you do when you're hurning down on your driving and you see a kangaroo running beside you, and they're always going to turn into you. You've got 1 or 2 things to do. You either bump the bugger and roll him, and that way he's okay, and you're okay. Otherwise, you can run over him, and you potentially hit the trees.
Okay. Whatever that meant, man. Speed bumps and the flesh kind. Hey, Wingman, I haven't heard from you in a while. You falling asleep on us? I know it's really early over there in the UK. All right.
Yep. He is. He's lucid dreaming.
Noreen, what's going on?
I was just going to say, he's lucid dreaming, see? So he's really with us. He thinks he's with us, but he's not sure.
I don't but
right?
What do you got to say about kangaroos and the Aussies, Noreen?
Oh, I just remembered, I think me and Douglas saw a really fleeting glimpse of one just at the resort at the Novotel, and but then we ate one at the Sydney Harbor. So
you ate a
Was
kangaroo?
it well salted, well sauteed?
You know what? It tastes like filet mignon.
kangaroo
It is
tail.
really good.
Wow,
Oh,
so it's
it's
like
great.
really tender.
Oh yeah.
That's great. It's the
Oh, it's
leanest
awesome.
meat you'll ever get. And yeah, it's fantastic. And you can spice it up any way you like. And you can turn it into sheep,
the
you can turn
males
it into cow.
mostly?
Yeah, it's very, very, well, what can
Is
I say?
it like a cow?
It depends on how you fragrant it.
Yeah.
It depends on your ideas. I can make a kangaroo stew to taste like a lamb, pig, or cow.
Yeah.
So,
You know, in Alaska, you know, which is part of the U.S. but not part of the lower 48 as they call it. My son was living up there, and they made moose stew and you know elk, and there's also like an elk sashimi almost where they braise the outside of it and then they leave the inside raw. And I've never eaten elk or moose, and I figure wherever you live, you know, that's going to be the meat, you know, that type of thing. Yes.
can I actually say I've eaten beaver that tasted like a great chicken meal, right?
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I was in Canada, up at Whitehorse.
Yeah, that's their state's animal, but I mean their country's animal is the beaver. I just learned that yesterday from our friend from Brent Holland. Yeah. So it was they have a beaver as their country's animal, their like national animal.
Black bear.
Paul, you know,
black bear is apparently very good as opposed to brown bear.
Do you know Americans
brown bear's
have
too tough.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill.
Americans have a phrase over here. I don't know if you're aware of it, but we're always making jokes about everything tastes like chicken. So we say tastes like chicken, and you just said you're a beaver or whatever it was tasted like chicken, and you're in Australia, so I guess it's a universal phrase.
I didn't say it
had-
tasted like chicken. I said it tasted like cow because it was flavored like cow. But
Well,
anyway,
Pete, my father. He was a Vietnam War veteran.
Please.
Even frog legs taste
Go
like,
ahead.
even frog legs taste like chicken.
To Canada. I went to Canada, and I missed the salmon migration, and Angie, you know this well, by 2 weeks. I was spewing.
That you missed the salmon migration? Say it again.
Yes, the salmon migration for 2 weeks. You know, I was 2 weeks early, and I had to go catch a plane back to Vancouver and this and that, and then go to Honolulu and bye-bye America and back to home.
Wow. So you missed it by 2 weeks, yeah.
Noreen may know this. Noreen may remember. The other night on Doug Dietrich's show, a woman did call in who did have possum, I think, for the first time.
That was Mara Harmon, from the New Zealand, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she had to catch it herself.
My dad in Vietnam, he didn't know it at the time, but he was fed dog during the war.
Well, it depends on the dog. It's supposed to be pretty good, some of it, but I wouldn't know.
It was delicious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was at a Vietnamese family's house. He was the airport manager at the airport, Wei Phu Bai. And it was just me and one other GI, another, like 12 Vietnamese people. And we're eating our meals, and they're really bony. And me and my buddy, we're putting our bones by the side of our plate. And I looked around, didn't notice any bones on anybody else's by their plates. You know, okay, what are they doing? Eating their bones? What they do in Vietnam is they throw the bones on the floor. They don't have carpet, just cement. They throw the bones on the floor. We put them by the side of our plate. Now it was delicious, but I didn't know it was dog till after I ate it.
Wow.
Did you have to scratch to get into the bathroom, or?
I mean, did they throw the bones to the dog? I mean, the dog bones to the dogs?
No, they throw their bones under the table.
Yeah, they probably got those, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
May I ask a question, or may I make a statement? So I was watching some type of outdoor channel thing, and then also I'm living in an area in the mountains where I have 3 cats that go outside during the day, and they come in at night, and we're very lucky in going on 3 years now that they've been alive. But there are coyotes. And also I watched some people on some outdoor channel or something like this go hunt coyotes, and mostly coyotes. This is what I'm talking about. So would we consider that wild dog, and what do they do with the coyotes after they shoot them? I mean, because, I understand that, wait a minute here, the coyotes have been around a lot longer than we have, and, I just want to know, what do they do with the shot coyotes?
They take them to a rendering plant and make dog food out of them.
Right, it's disturbing, but they do the same thing with all roadkill. Same with veterinarians.
Dead horses.
The veterinarians keep a freezer in the back for all the cats and dogs that they have to put down, and they actually sell those bodies to these plants that Pete's speaking of.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah, and they refeed them. They cannibalize our pets.
Yeah, and that's sad, but if it's being used, I can't necessarily argue. I mean, I don't like cannibalistic situations. Like, I don't want to eat a cannibalistic chicken, that's being, fed ground corn with, ground chicken, this type of thing. Right. But I mean, if they are making meat, for animals, because I was just wondering, like, do people eat coyote?
I think we eat our own, like you brought up earlier. I wouldn't doubt that in the day and age we're living in. But people are concerned about their pets. The ingredient, the way that they use the color of wording, the color of wording.
If you're in the wild,
animal product. That's the ingredient. Animal product. So if you see animal product in the ingredients list on your cat or dog food, you're giving them, you're cannibalizing your own pet.
Yeah, forget that. That causes, dude guy, you should know this. That causes, what is it, like mad cow disease?
Yeah, mad cow.
Stuff like that. I think
you're feeding and cannibalizing.
Oops.
I'm here.
Yeah, we went off there for a second there.
Yeah.
So dude guy's bringing up Solvent Green.
Yeah.
Soylent Green?
Yeah.
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 Soylent, not
That's a
solvent.
heavy subject, yeah.
That's basically what we're talking about here is trying to make cannibalism palatable,
Right.
and even profitable.
Ugh.
You know.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Dude guy, always right on the money. Or I hate to say right on the money because I'm not a believer in money, you know, even though we exist with it, but I should say hit the nail on the head because, you know, I don't really get the whole right on the money speech anymore, but yeah, dude, seriously, we're eating ourselves. And I just did a story this week on a Nigerian, hotel, getting busted for human meat in their burgers. I did a story on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's really disgusting, but in
Yeah.
Australia, and what we were referring to was animals. Okay? Now, please, not the human idealism.
Okay.
Right? Now, in Australia, we call it lovely idealism, blood bone, where we put all the waste animals, carcasses and this and that, and guts, we turn it into plantation to grow food. So, you know, if you don't grow food, my golly gosh. And if you don't turn the creatures into actually food to benefit, you know, why the hell are they here on Earth? You know, this is where I'm coming to, because I always love my animals, right? And I love them all the way to death and all the way to growing a new plant. So that's what I'm going for.
Wow. And your lamb's name is Weber.
Exactly. And he's going to be also really, really well.
Well, we got off the speeding topic, which I need to.
It's normal. We're all over
speeding
the
to
place on the
roadkill.
gray zone,
Basically.
man. That's just normal.
Right, exactly.
Especially if I'm on the call, but anyway.
A through Z. I can't even keep a list down.
But I wouldn't mind meat being used as fertilizer for plants, of course. You know, for plants, and then
they say carnivore meat
But then are you an actual
carnivore
vegan or
excrement
vegetarian?
shouldn't be used for like vegetarian.
No, it shouldn't, because basically the problem with using a lot of the meat has diseases in it, and also prions. This is where you get the mad cow disease. If it's a type of protein that's misfolded, and if it's communicable, if it's close enough to your human proteins, like in cows, it can be transmitted and cause the proteins in your body to misfold, especially in the brain and stuff like that.
And then also if you're a pregnant mother, I mean, or a pre-pregnant mother, eating proteins like right before you get pregnant, obviously, you know, if you're going, you know, too close to your DNA in your consumption, there's a possibility of birth defects. Am I not on the right page there?
Yeah, you don't want to go too many cycles away from plants, and so if the food chain between, you know, the earth and you is too long, you get too many cooks in the stew. There's too many animals folding too many proteins and doing this is eating that, this is eating that. You know, the closer you are to the source, the better.
Right.
And so this is why, you know, you want to have cows that are grass-fed. They're not supposed to be eating corn anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's why they have to use antibiotics, because cows were never meant to eat corn.
Reverting just for a second here, reverting just back to the law enforcement aspect we were speaking of. Jer Bear asked in the chat room, I think there are cases in the court system that are trying to prove that red light cameras and automatic speed cameras are illegal and is racketeering between local governments and private corporations. Yeah, that's true, Jer Bear. I actually got one of them automated red light camera tickets They sent me a picture in the mail. I'm in California, and this came from a corporation in Arizona. So I did not acknowledge jurisdiction right off the bat. Basically, my father told me just to put it in a picture frame and hang it on the wall and ignore it, which I did. And, it's been no problem since then. Most people, though, will submit, and they'll go ahead and send in that $500 fine out of fear.
What if you go to Arizona? Can they get you then?
No.
So I think Paul and Pete.
Knock. The doorbell's not right. Doorbell's not working.
Yeah, 808. We got 808 joining us, man. Sorry about that, 808.
Hey guys, I'm just here to, I'm hanging out.
Hold on, Pete. Go ahead, 808. What's your name?
Hanging out for the after. This is 808, 308. I'm just hanging out for the after party.
After party,
which is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, so I'm gonna mute and I'll listen.
What's your name?
This is 808, 308. Hi, Angela.
Okay, you're 808. Hey, 808.
Remember, Stinky
No,
Cloud.
I remember. I was hoping we could, you know. Okay. Anyway, so then I know that
unlike
Paul had some comments, and also I believe Pete had some comments. So I was hoping Paul could go. I mean, it's not my RT, but just in general, I know Paul had something to say about this, and then also I know that Pete had something to say about
Handle it, Angela. I'm learning from you.
You're silly.
She's fantastic. I know. That's my. I love you, Angie. But anyway, I totally agree, right? The bloody idealism of speed cameras, hello, that's what we were referring to, and they're all bloody, back in the day, we used to have 10, kilometres, or 8 mile, roughly, to, do such a thing. But now it's gone to, really, really minute, 3K, right? And hello.
You're saying like the cops are hitting you up now. They used to give you like 8 kilometers per hour leverage. Now they're hitting you up if you're going 1 kilometer over.
Exactly. Yes.
It's all about the money, man.
Yeah, it's all about the money.
Okay, I never wrote anybody a ticket for doing less than 15 over the speed limit. Number one. Number two, on the red light issue, red light cameras, you can ignore them, throw them away, or hang them like Rectify did, frame them, because you don't sign a promise to appear in court, so that you can't put a warrant out for your arrest.
Not just that, the actual back of the supposed citation that this corporation sends you says, please do not contact any court in this matter.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
And the first one that was installed in Orange County was at the end of the 55 freeway going into Costa Mesa. And there's a 45-mile-an-hour zone.
I know exactly. You're talking about where the 55 ends.
Yeah, at Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway.
Okay. Well, they had the red light there. That was the first one in Orange County with a red light camera. Okay, they had a 3.8 second yellow signal. For a 45-mile-an-hour traffic zone, you're required to have a 4.3 minute yellow signal.
Yeah, second.
So 4.3 second half.
Yeah, you need enough time to stop.
It was basically a half a second too short for the yellow. So they ended up refunding like over 2,000 people that got tickets, like 2,300 people that got tickets.
So it was a class action lawsuit. People stepped up.
They realized, I think an attorney realized, it wasn't really a lawsuit. Nobody got money. They just got all their fines alleviated. But you know what? These red light cameras actually result in more rear-end collisions because people see a yellow light where they can safely pass through, and they'll slam on the brakes and get rear-ended by the car behind them because it's afraid to go through that intersection on a red light.
Well, statistically,
even though they have plenty of time.
They say that's true. That you're right about the stats on that. It's not good.
Yeah.
The rate of accidents.
Most of the red light tickets are right turners on red. Rolling right turners on red. Not going straight through.
We've been joined by Jer Bear, the one and only. What's going
But I
on,
have
Mr. Jer?
a thing to say, Rick, about earlier talking about, how long it takes for the X-flares to get to Earth. You're closer. So you said 8 minutes. Somebody else said 9 minutes.
About 9.
It's average 8.3 minutes.
Ooh.
The closest.
I win. Yay.
Look at Pete.
All right, Pete. It's my rule here on the Gray Zone. The new caller gets the mic. So I got Jerry. How you doing, brother?
I just want to let Pete finish. Go ahead, Pete.
All right, there you go.
The closest the sun gets to Earth, it takes 940 seconds. When there's 91.4 million miles.
Answer a mute. You got an echo coming through.
Echo.
The farthest the sun gets from Earth is 4.5 million miles away. All right.
I think someone's battery's going dead.
Say that again because it was muffled.
Angela, you're mute. You need to mute because you're echoing.
Oh, sorry.
worries.
It's me? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Jerry, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. And
Happy
chat,
Tuesday, man.
thank you. I just pay attention to the chat room, and they're throwing some vital questions out right now. And I was just trying to be a good Samaritan and pass it. Here's one more for you, and probably Pete can answer it. I don't know, or one of you all. It's called, he says, again, how can a sitting POTUS hold office after saying he will defy the constitutional government we are under? I guess it's sitting POTUS. I don't know.
The President of the United States.
Yeah. You can sit, I mean, just because he says he's going to do it, there's a process for removing the president that has to be followed. If the Congress or the people do not want to follow the process of impeachment, then he's going to sit there. There's a process. It just doesn't automatically happen because somebody says something. I mean, even if somebody murders somebody, he doesn't automatically go to jail. You got to arrest him, right? So there's a process that has to be followed. It's outlined in the Constitution, and it's called impeachment.
But POTUS can impose martial law.
Well, does impeachment imply an arrest or just simply taking him out of office?
Impeachment does not require you to be arrested, but it is a process that removes you from office. You can arrest for different reasons.
Clinton was never removed from office.
Joe Biden's not going to do us any better. Neither is Hillary Clinton.
It's not about the fact that Joe Biden wouldn't do us any better or worse. It's that you enforce the law. If you don't enforce the law, then the laws aren't going to be followed, correct?
They're going to be trampled.
Yeah, but Clinton was impeached and he didn't go for, what happened there?
They didn't finish the impeachment. They ended up censuring Clinton. And the President of the United States cannot declare military dictatorship. He can, he can do it, but not legally. There's no process for that. He can't suspend the Constitution legally. Congress has to agree. Nobody can do that by themselves. They can try to do it by themselves, and people can let them. And this is where we get into trouble because people will always take and grab for powers that are not allocated to them. And if the people don't try to stop them, they'll just keep doing it. But by no way, it's not legal. There's no legal thing in the Constitution that says the president can declare a military dictatorship.
I wanted to welcome 336 area code. I pretty much believe it's our regular Brian. 336?
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Yeah, and what's up? There's a delay from TuneIn to the live thing. So last I heard, y'all were talking about, stoplights and the the BS cameras and everything. Excuse me. I'm on lunch real quick, so I got to hurry up and, get off here and eat. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents. Had a buddy who worked at Redflex, which is basically the company in Phoenix that reviews these. He's actually my roommate at one point. And, long story short, he still works there. They pay him really nicely, you know what I mean? Surprise, surprise. But what I did want to say, the safest stoplights I've always encountered, especially in Phoenix or in cities, are the ones where the stoplights are out and they don't work. And everyone's like, no, after you, everyone stops at those lights, So, when they're, completely out or there's a blackout, that's when everyone's as safe as can be. That's the safest way to get through it right there.
First stop, first go.
Yeah, all stoplight floors, in my opinion, are just to, keep commerce flowing faster to make more money for, whoever. But anyway, that's my two cents.
Absolutely.
Been listening all night long. So.
Thanks for calling in, Brian. I appreciate it as always, man.
Yeah, man.
Good
Y'all
point.
take care. Have a good
Have
one.
a good night.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Well, they
later.
also do have traffic circles.
Bud.
They use those a lot in Europe where you don't even need stoplights, you know.
Or roundabouts.
I don't believe in stop signs for the most part. Also, I believe in yield signs, like yield to Bob, but
We got roundabouts, please. In Australia, we got roundabouts.
Yeah, roundabouts are the way to go, yeah.
yeah, generally.
And that's the best way to
The
actually...
bloody Americans don't know how to use the roundabouts. You know that, Paul.
We have a roundabout here in Long Beach.
on the left-hand side,
Yeah.
but we us on the opposite.
He knows what I'm talking about. There's a roundabout in Long Beach.
Hey, I gotta bring up something about prions I've been trying to get out. Prions also cannot be burned out of, like, plants if they have them in them, or food. They just if you burn something to try to get rid of it, it just stays in the ashes, so...
But if you use ketchup, it does get rid of that prion taste.
Exactly, and, that's not good for those what did you say, Angela? The preemie woman pregnant... What was the word? I forgot now.
I don't know,
Eight
but I'm
minutes
fascinated.
left, so on that token, I want to go through the list. I give everybody about a minute, 20 seconds or so, starting with Maureen, and we'll go to Angela, Pete, Jer Bear, Wingman, if he's still awake, Bill, Dude Guy, and then Ozzy Paul, and 808 at the end. I'm sorry about that caller, but there we go. Maureen, minute and 20 seconds. Spit your knowledge.
Of course, I will be fast. First of all, Rectify, I want to thank you for having me on your roundtable, and I know that yours is after mine, and I really like that. That's cool. I like your bumper
I love
music.
working with you.
Huh? I love it. And your bumper music, I have to say, I want to go dive into a mosh pit. Why? Serious. I mean, I love it.
Don't like it. They think it's too hardcore.
I like it. See, I like it. I'm
thank you.
down with punk rock and all that scene anyway. So I know I'm on a tangent here. I just, I know people, can I really speak really quickly about the roundtable I was doing? Not because you were, but that was before the Gray Zone and, Rectifies. And, people are really passionate. I don't want to bring up anything controversial. People are really passionate about, why is it that, people that are supposed to be awake and aware and they're hosts and they say this or they don't do this or that. You guys, this is my conclusion. I think, we're all trying our best, and as long as we respect each other, that's the most important, because really, I mean, who has all the answers, right? I was just thinking that, and some people will come to better conclusions than others, but you have to sort it out yourself, right? It's cool, so let's just all respect each other's opinions, and I would love to invite everybody back again on my roundtable, which is on this studio before Gray Zone, and then also continue, doesn't have to be the same people if you want to or not, but just pull it into Gray Zone too. Hey, we're all, sharing ideas in a streaming.
We're all one. The quicker we
Yes.
realize that, the better this world will be. So that's
Yeah.
Maureen's
Yeah, that's it for
roundtable.
me. Go ahead.
Tuesdays at midnight.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Angela, what do you got?
Well,
Somebody-
I really want to agree with Noreen and compliment, your particular speech there, which is, bringing it all together and basically appreciating everyone, respecting everyone, doing that whole thing. It's so important. I can't even describe it because I've been on the other side. I've been in the war on the chat room. On the internet, with the, personal attacks and this type of thing. And I just find it to be so counterproductive, that I can't even describe the level of energy that it's stupid enough.
Well, Shill's getting a paycheck for this stuff, so
Yeah,
you got to expect it.
So that's what I love about RR here, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, is that, we aren't paid and we really do get to speak this particular truth. I really want to thank you guys for letting me on the air tonight and, this type of thing. I didn't know I was going to be on here. I missed last week.
You're my savior. I didn't think I had a co-host tonight, so I appreciate you always.
You know that, but Noreen's always around.
Well, hold on. What was that?
Hold on, Wingman. You're not there. You're not there.
He's
yet.
awake.
Wingman, you were just a little, making everybody nervous, late, but not late. So you're okay. Anyway, I just wanted to say thanks. Listen to my show, please, on days at 5 p.m. Eastern. I talk about the truth. I don't have a co-host right now. I may extend the show to a 2-hour show a few days a week, and I may invite a co-host, and I'm not sure yet, and it's me at this particular moment.
I say yay to either one. I think you need 2 hours, most stuff.
Yeah.
And, if you wanted a co-host, that'd be cool too, but I think you roll just fine solo.
Baby, thanks. Yeah, it gets a little exhausting, so I would definitely need breaks, which I don't have one right now, but I'm on a 1-hour show. Anyway, I really enjoyed this conversation. Australian Paul, Bill Grant, Bruce McDonald, Rectify, Wingman, Noreen,
Mr. Travesty.
Travesty, and then 808, and who was the other one?
Duke guy. Yeah, everybody, man. We got a good team here. Noreen, come on now. Yeah. All right, give us the authoritarian.
Oh yes,
fact.
Mr. Pete.
You got.
I don't understand. You have less than 10 minutes left, and you give 9 people a minute and 20 seconds.
Come on, hurry up. No semantics.
9 people, a minute and 20 seconds each.
You got
more
3
than 10
minutes, so you get about 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah,
that just cost you time.
Okay. Well, I'm just questioning why you gave a minute and 20ty seconds.
I'm not
to 9
doing
people.
math tonight. That's why.
Oh my gosh, your dad sounds like hijacker.
Sure, Bear.
Okay.
I totally thought that.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night. You got Angela, Bill,
Yeah.
Jerry Bear, Wingman, if you're still awake or woke up.
He's there. He's waiting.
Noreen in Long Beach.
That
And Australia and Paul.
Right on.
Yeah.
I'd like to say thank you and good night.
Good night.
All right.
Hey, Jerry Bear. You got about
I'd like to just say that if we had a contest for bumpers, I would vote I'd vote you number 1 on your bumper, the TheGrayZone.
Dude, don't diss Hawk like that. I love Hawk stuff.
I ain't dissing Hawk. I'm voting for you, brother.
Right
That's
on.
my love. That's my love.
All right, Wingman,
Suck
my co-host, that's always late. What's your final statement, brother?
No, I've been listening. Yeah, simple really. Be happy. Carry on.
Right on. All right, you got 20 seconds or 30 seconds, Bill. What you got?
All right. Well, okay. I'll say my speeding story. There was a time I thought.
You can't do that.
Oh, stories. Let's go. Chomp.
There was a
we got
time.
30 seconds, really. Otherwise,
There was a
we're gonna
time I
get in
thought.
trouble.
There was a time I really thought like 150 miles per hour was about 50 miles per hour. It seemed that way. That's it.
Okay.
Fly fast, dude, guy. What do you got, man?
Class.
Dude,
Oh, hey, yep.
he's gonna have the best one. Watch.
I just want to say, Piers Morgan got his show canceled. The mainstream media is dying. Hey, so we're winning. Keep it up there, everybody. We're kicking the mainstream's butt. We're bringing the info out.
Isn't he kicked out of the country now too? I mean, I think he is.
I'm just happy he's canceled.
There was a petition set up.
Piers Morgan. I was kind of his nickname for me was Piers Morgan, but you know.
All right, we're almost down to like 30 seconds. Paul,
Check him out and Justin
10
Bieber.
seconds. Go, Paul. Hurry.
Yeah, Paul, hurry.
Hurry.
Y'all are just fantastic.
All right, time up.
We're gonna
All right,
lose the
Piers
automation
Morgan-
server. I'm gonna get in trouble.
If Piers Morgan is still here, get
All right,
out.
either way, you get the last word.
Don't drink and drive. Slow down, Steve. Slow down, Wingman.
I don't drink and drive. I drive and drink.
All right, guys. Listening to the TheGrayZone.
Don't forget my show, Studio B.
Don't forget her show.
Right on, Angie.
Angela Black. Back. She'll be on later on today, 5 p.m.
Studio B.
Skipper's Choose time.
Revolution-radio.com. This has been the TheGrayZone. We love you all out there. Don't forget to donate. That's our breathing air. We can't speak if you don't support us. So freedomslips.com. Hit that site support button, and we love you. Good night.
$268 down and 5 days to go. So rock and roll with a couple bucks.
Freak out.
Late donate
Keep
all around the
going.
world.
Otherwise, we're going to be down for March, and that's the beginning of the new year, in my opinion.
Simple Mormons who are very devout about doing what you do.